All right, and we are live, and I'm here with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman, who's here with us in spirit. And I don't know if his mic's
Hello, everyone.
There he is. And he may be playing some Super Smash Land in the background. So I've also got British James with us.
Friendly reminder that Cardassia did nothing wrong.
Now do watch what you say, British James. I don't want you to end up in prison after this live stream.
Remember the 15 Gorillion.
And Matt Forney's with us.
Make Cardassia great again.
And Pastor Tom's with us as well.
Ducat 2020.
And we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're gonna answer the age-old question of who will build the roads. We're gonna talk about the wonderful, uplifting story of a man that gave birth. And
Twins? Or wait, what was that? Junior, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
And we're gonna talk about some questions for Mark Wade. That's gonna be very interesting. And also, of course, Korea. We might have peace in our time there. But first and foremost, let's get to E3, shall we? Because this week was E3, starting, I guess, what was it? Sunday, I think it started. And I didn't really watch a lot of it. I caught bits and pieces. I caught some of Medicare's streams on it. I caught after the fact, I caught little trailers that have been put up separately. As always, everyone wants to argue who won. I'm obviously a Nintendo dork, so I'm inclined to think Nintendo won. But really, I would say kind of no one won. There wasn't anything really, really spectacular. For the most part, there also wasn't anything really, really cringy except EA and fucking Ubisoft. Wow. Both of them shot themselves in the dick. I don't think Microsoft or Sony badly.
EA shooting itself in the dick implies that it has a dick.
It's like they're like Deadpool. It keeps growing back just so they can shoot it off again. Nintendo, obviously, there was a few trailers. A new Mario Party, which isn't, despite being a Mario fan, I've never been much into Mario Party. But there's a new Mario Party. I'm sure a lot of people are happy about that. A few other trailers. And the big thing that caught everyone's attention was Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers looks just fucking fantastic. Basically, they're almost just sort of doing, they're calling it Ultimate Smash, and it's sort of a best of. Like back in the day when fighting games, back in my day, in the far off time of the 90s, when fighting games would have enough entries, they'd do sort of a, version with all the characters in it. What was it? I think Mortal Kombat Trilogy or something like that back in the day did that. Things like that. And that's what they're going with Smash Ultimate. Every character that has been in Smash Brothers up until this point, which is something like 65 characters.
And Ridley.
Yeah, and they added a couple. So far, we know they added Ridley from Metroid and the Inkling, which we already knew was going to happen, from Splatoon. And so they added those two. They said there's not going to be a lot of new characters. I think there are going to be a couple more, at least one more going to be announced, but primarily they just focused on bringing in all the ones we had already seen. And by the way, Luke is playing Super Smash Land, which is a fan-made demake of Smash Brothers done in the style of the original Game Boy. And it's just fantastic. You can download that for free. It's great.
Mario versus Pikachu.
Yeah. The graphics really do look like they could be on the Game Boy. I mean, obviously the Game Boy couldn't have a frame rate like this or anything like that, but it could probably show sprites this complex easily. And I love that they put it in green. That's just fucking fantastic.
Background music sounds just like Smash Brothers. I'll play some music. Hold on, let me get some music going for you.
Alrighty. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Ton of characters. A few notable things. I noticed they're bringing out way more assist trophies. Some from third party, like Knuckles is going to be an assist trophy. And then I noticed they're bringing Bomberman in as an assist trophy. Personally, I wanted Bomberman as a playable character. I've wanted him for a while in Smash Brothers. I don't really I don't understand why you would go through the trouble of getting the rights to him just to make him an assist trophy. That seemed kind of weird to me. I mean, I'm happy to have him there at all, but like I said, seemed a little weird. I mean, I've heard people say like, "Oh, well, what could you do with Bomberman? Could you really even have a moveset?" I mean, well, he's got arms and legs, so he can kick and punch, and then, beyond
Does
that,
he have
I mean,
bombs?
I was about to say, you
bombs.
got Mr. Game & Watch in there.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to tell me that we really had a great moveset to work with Pac-Man before we brought him in, or for that matter, think of the original Smash Brothers. We brought in Cloud. We brought in.
Oh, we lost Bechtloff.
Well, I guess here
he's back in.
Uh-oh, I got booted.
You got physically removed.
Yeah, I got digitally removed. But as I was saying, yeah, we had Fox McCloud in the original one, even going back, and we had never seen this guy outside of his ship before then. So I mean, the idea that we couldn't put him as a playable character because there's not enough moves, that just doesn't ring true to me. I mean, I'm happy to have him as an assist character. I love Bomberman, so it's not even a nostalgia thing. I got into Bomberman games only maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I never really played them before that point. But yeah, it's nice to have him as an assist trophy. And I'm really excited about this because a large variety of playable characters is pretty much my biggest thing in a fighting game, because I'm not really into any kind of competitive scenes on any fighting games. Fighting games are things that exist to play with when friends are over, primarily for me. So a large variety of characters and to a lesser extent stages is pretty much one of my biggest things in it.
Yeah. Well, the thing which I've noticed with a lot of people spurging out about Smash being not competitive enough, it's still a party game at heart. I mean, I could understand if you have Street Fighter, that being a full-blooded competitive game, but at the end of the day, this is a game which kids are going to be playing. Who gives a shit?
Well, of course, they made some changes to the one-on-one, so that way it would be a little bit more competitive.
Mm.
I mean, again, maybe it's not going to be as much as, Street Fighter or Tekken or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean...
What was I saying? Melee had a big scene about the whole competitive stuff, but again, if it's good for competitive, that's fine, but don't base the whole game around it. Because, again, it's a game where you play as Mario beating up fucking the princess. Don't take it seriously.
One of the things I noticed with a lot of the competitive guys, and it drives me up the wall on a personal level, is I just don't like how seriously they take shit. And, like, one of the things I love about Smash, and there's a few other games like that, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is another good example. I love the absolute chaos of it. And a lot of the hyper-competitive people really don't like that because it's like, it should be about skill. There should be no random. Like, what was, I think it was the one on the Wii, Brawl, where they added this thing in where, like, randomly your character might trip up a little bit. Like, just this total random element. And it wasn't an absolute, it's not like your character trip up and you'd totally fall, but it was this random element that you could not control. And a lot of the competitive people thought, oh, that's no good. And it's like, fucking life has random elements, okay? Like, if you're this skilled, you should be able to, compensate for this random element that happens to you. But yeah, I rather like that because it's just, I don't know. I've never been into the big competitive scene. I can't even stand to watch it because to me it always devolves into the same handful of people playing the same handful of characters, doing the same handful of moves, which is usually something that is borderline a broken part of the game that they're exploiting. And it just, I don't find it entertaining. I have no interest in watching, people play Fox McCloud with no items on Melee for the 400th time on Final Destination and do nothing but edge grabbing or edge guarding the whole time. It's not entertaining to even watch.
The random chance is what makes the Mario Party games fun. It's not just like Mario Kart, Mario Party, even their sports stuff is generally fun. And Nintendo's probably, outside of maybe a few indie devs like Team 17, they're the only people who actually make genuinely fun couch play games that you could just fuck around with.
Yeah, that's why I love Smash. I love having I love having friends over and playing Smash, and the fact that there's, random chaos that pops up throughout it is great. I love that there are stage hazards. I love that there are assist trophies. I love the idea that there could be just random characters you can grab hold of and they help you fight. That's such a cool ass thing.
I was going to say the only other thing from Nintendo which did cause a slight spurge out was no Prime 4 footage, which, to be honest, they're probably not going to show much until next year, but what can you expect?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see a trailer for some kind of trailer or something for Prime. I would have liked to have gotten maybe a little bit more on Bayonetta 3 as well. But, of course, the other thing is, E3 for Sony and Microsoft is their big event. It's not the biggest thing for Nintendo, though. I mean, they've gotten to a pretty good pattern with their directs and stuff like that. And so it's another opportunity for them, but they're still going to give out information at their own pace whenever they want. So
yeah, it's just another direct for them. They won't. I mean, if they're going to show any Prime footage, expect them maybe by the end of the year, probably next year.
I think even if they didn't have any real footage ready, they should have maybe had like a little segment of an interview with the creator and just maybe a behind the scenes thing. In other words, they should have paid some lip service to Prime. And I don't even really. I'm not even that excited about Prime 4, but I just taking the temperature of the room. I know everybody wanted some update on Prime 4. So they should have done that. I think that was a missed opportunity on their part.
Part of Nintendo's E3 kind of got the wind taken out of it as well, though, because there was that whole leak. And so a lot of the games that were coming, people already knew about. So they didn't really receive a whole lot of fanfare. Like, people already knew Fortnite was coming to the Switch and Paladins and all that kind of stuff, which, people, they might have gotten really excited about if Nintendo got to reveal it. But the fact that it already came out in a leak, I think that sort of stole some of their thunder as well. Like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, I know a lot of people have been really wanting that to come to the Switch, and so it is. So that's one of the things that I think kind of took away from it. But one thing that I think is good that Nintendo did that I didn't see from a lot of other companies, of course, I only saw the Sony one, is the DLC. I mean, they had some good DLC, like the Splatoon DLC looks really interesting. The Xenoblade DLC looks interesting. And Splatoon's almost a year old, if not a year old by this point. Xenoblade is like 6 months old. So it's great that these games are still getting really good support. I mean, they're great games by themselves. They don't need DLC, but getting this DLC that looks good and, maybe depending on how you feel is, okay priced is still, I think, a good thing, because you're still getting more money out of these games.
Tom, I'm afraid that's not as good as Todd Howard being able to play Elder Scrolls Skyrim on your microwave oven.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, he's ported Elder Scrolls to the original Game Boy now. He only had one protocopy. He only had one copy made just so he could say he did it.
Well, this is a slight tangent moving on to other E3 stuff, but the Fallout 76 stuff, everyone finding out that was online only, even if you're not a big Fallout fan, the amount of people just massively disappointed by that.
Well, on one level, I'm glad to see people actually are disappointed by that, because I know so many of these game companies want to bring everything to digital only, online only. I lost the article, but there was some article and they were actually praising it, but I think it's nightmarish, where they said we're leaving the product-based economy. Welcome to the subscription-based economy. And I'm like, that's also known as slavery. Okay. Welcome to never owning anything. That's nightmarish. That's not good.
Chris, don't be so cynical. It's indentured servitude. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's indentured, sir. Welcome to never owning anything. Welcome to hell. All right, that's what it is. And I'm glad when I see the pushbacks against that. When I actually see people, because I see, to me, I don't see enough of that pushback. To me, I see people embracing that shit way more than they should. So when I actually do see the pushback against it, I'm like, good. I remember when Xbox One was first going to hit, and it seems like a million years ago because so much has happened in the last 3, 4, 5 years. But back in 2013, I guess it was, where they were talking about your games would be tied to your system and it would destroy the used game market, that kind of stuff. And everybody pitched a fit about it. And good. To be honest, at first I thought, oh shit, this is just going to happen now because everybody's going to go along with it.
The thing, well, I'll defend Xbox in this one regard on that, and this is the only thing I'm gonna do, and it's gonna have a massive fucking exclamation mark. They wanted to try and copy Steam's method of gaming when it came to selling stuff. And Steam in general is cheaper because it's PC stuff. PC games have always been cheaper than consoles, besides maybe Nintendo, but that's besides the point. The problem is secondhand gaming for consoles, being able to just like imagine just picking up a game for your system. It's secondhand, so it's obviously going to be cheaper. I mean, look at, for example, if you're going to buy a car in the UK, as soon as you walk out of that place, it's brand new. You've lost like a third of its value because of VAT and just income tax and all that stuff. So being able to get like a cheap game for like £10, $15, whatever, that's good. But with Steam, you can't do that. So now you've got Call of Duty games, GTA 4, and it's like $30 for a game that's like 8 years old. And it's like, if that was secondhand and actually physical, you could probably pick it up for a third of the price.
See, I feel like all that's going to do is that's going to just lead to any type of new game is really going to get crushed. It's going to lead to less exciting games, more sequels, more. I mean, it's going to be just like the movie industry. Basically, is what the video game is going to turn into at that point.
It's more stringed. It's usually cheaper at the point of impact, but after that, you don't really see a drop off, which is the massive problem. Because I remember being able to pick up so many dirt cheap games for the 360 and the GameCube and the PS2 and the PS3. You're not going to have that anymore with the new markets because they want to remove that.
Yeah, I remember when I first got the PS2 in like 2005, there was already a ton of great games out that were like priced at $20, brand new because they were in the greatest hits collection or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're not going to see that anymore. But like I said, I'm glad there was a pushback against it. I don't think there's enough pushback against that kind of thing, but I'm glad to see some of it.
I think if Microsoft proves that it can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. Same with like for example with EA, they got fucked as well because they were quite bad this E3. I mean, they had a new Command and Conquer game, which no one wanted.
Isn't that like a mobile game or something?
Oh no, it's
what the fuck was that?
To be honest, they've already raped the command. They raped it. They killed it. They raped it again. They raped it again. They somehow managed to bring it back to life with like electricity. They killed it again. They raped it again, and now it's just a pile of limbs on the side of the road.
No, it's a Family Guy joke at this point. It's just fucking overly used. I mean, Davis, why'd you keep doing acting for these guys? They're terrible.
I mean, to be realistic, they'd raped it all the way back around with Red Alert 2, so this is just the inevitable decline.
It's
and you want to talk about online only, this online only horse shit. EA was pioneering that shit. Command & Conquer 4 Tiberium Twilight is online only. Like even the single player mode. I never bought it for precisely that reason. Because even though I'm not opposed to digital games, like I kind of have to rely on them now because like Steam and whatnot. But the idea of having to go online to play a single player game is retarded beyond belief.
One of the things that drives me nuts. Look, I'm not opposed to digital media in and of itself. I'm opposed to it replacing physical media. And one of the things that drives me nuts, and Nintendo's guilty of this, digital media should be cheaper. And the only Nintendo system I have right now hooked up online is my 3DS. And I've gone on the eShop and bought some old games on there and a couple of indie games. But I see like over the past couple months, I've seen new releases of 3DS games at regular price as if I had gone out to the store and buy them, $39.99. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. That should be conservatively $10 cheaper, if not maybe half price.
This was a problem that happened with the advent of the 7th generation, the Xbox One, PS4, because they were all running on Blu-ray disc. Everyone said, oh, they're expensive because of this. It's like, Blu-ray discs aren't that expensive, and they're pretty overrated. The SD cards are a better way, but as soon as you start to get online-only stuff, they still didn't drop, as you say. It's if someone was to say, okay, here's a brand new game, it usually costs $60 if you want to get a physical copy, but you know what, we give it to you for $50 for download only. That's a fair compromise. Yeah, I can't sell it on, but it's still cheaper if I really fucking want it. But we don't get that.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, this is a problem. I mean, I've still got a physical copy of Doom on PC, which I'm surprised I've got, and I mean the new Doom. But when I tried to get EA's Titanfall 2, it's like, nah, this is a fancy case you ordered to your house, but it's still got a fucking download code. You have to go to Origins. It's like, really, EA? Why?
Well, that's exactly why. They don't want you to own it. They do not want you to own it. They want everything. And I wish I had that article, because I would love to go through it on the subscription-based economy, because this person's talking about how great it is. No, it's not great. It's nightmarish. It is absolutely nightmarish. And they want everything to be that way. They don't want you to own anything.
They've already brought that into a big way with, like, you know, just regular enterprise software, like the Adobe Suite. The newer version of it, you can't physically buy it anymore. You have to subscribe to it, which costs if you could buy it in a store, or even just buy it one time.
It's ridiculous. One of the people on Patreon was mentioning he has to get like 3 of the fucking Adobe software stuff. It's like, is it like $50-$60 a month? Insane prices like that.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you know, new computers don't even come with any type of DVD software anymore. It's like to read. Like you have to purchase that separately.
Oh yeah,
you don't have the Power Plus.
I mean, I've got something as basic as a typing program anymore.
I don't even have a Blu-ray, because I've got a Blu-ray writer. Try and find software to play Blu-ray discs, and it's like you're finding that the rarest thing on the 4 corners of the planet. It's
yeah. They want to screw you over like that. They really do. And
well, I mean, the thing is like, you know, I'm not the kind of person who's like, you know, give me free stuff, but it's like when you've included something for a long time, or in the case where it's like, you know, you could own something and now they want to change that, that's where it's like, yeah, that's the issue, you know?
I'll play devil's advocate, because this is a point I've made, or at least thought to myself a few times. Look at the pricing of gaming over the years from, let's say, 5th, I'm trying to remember the right generation's correct. I think 6th generation is the 360 and PS3, and Wii. 5th generation is PS2.
No, 6th generation would be PS2.
Okay, cool. But remember the pricing of a lot of those games, because I remember picking up games for the GameCube, and they were at least about the same price as we have now, if not a little cheaper. But look at the budget. What about
you
that?
You want to go back further than that? You go back to 5th generation. You go back to Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. You know, a new game was $60 to $70.
It was even more.
And
that's the thing.
And that was 1994, 95, 93 money. And so yeah, I understand the argument that games perhaps should be more expensive than they are. I get that argument. At the end of the day, though, I would just like, how about you just charge me what the fuck is a fair price and don't nickel and dime me till the end of time on it?
I'd agree with that, because the fact is, when you try and make games, okay, it's a $65 game, but here's all the DLC and it's like an extra $40. It's like, yeah, that's $105 you end up spending on Star Wars Battlefront 2 just to play the whole thing, and it's like, that's even more than what it should be.
Yeah, because if you were to just charge me $80 for a complete game, I think we could call it even.
Well, no, I think playing devil's advocate in this sense, though, you know, with some games, if the game is complete on its own and it's like, okay, here's something extra for those who really like that, I don't mind that, you know. So like Xenoblade 2, you know, that's a complete game. There's, you know, 200 hours worth of content in that game. You can really enjoy it. But if you're a big fan of that game, they've got this new expansion there where, you know, it's a prequel. You can kind of play things before the main game takes place. It gives you a whole lot more. I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem charging for that either. You know, it's when the game is incomplete and they're charging you $60 and then they charge even more money for DLC to sort of make it a complete game that I think is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that meme where it's like you see a picture of like what DLC used to be, and you see a picture of a hamburger, you know, with all the, you know, with cheese, you know, ketchup, mustard, lettuce, tomato, onion, all that stuff. And it says this is the game, and then the DLC is the fries and the drink. Well, now, you know, the game is just the bun, and the DLC is the burger and the cheese, and the mustard is Best Buy exclusive, and the ketchup is GameStop exclusive. You know, That's where we've gotten to now. There are plenty of games that, yes, they are complete things, and then DLC is something after the fact meant to expand on it. But there's plenty of cases. I mean, we've seen cases in the last few years of where the data is actually on the disc, and the thing you're buying with the DLC is just a little code to unlock it.
Oh yeah, they did that
that's
with
right.
Mass Effect 3 and the Prothean DLC.
It's the problem has partly is to do with game budgets. But the thing is, even then, you look at something like when Halo 3 came out, that was apparently a big budget game for 25 million. It's like that's not big anymore. Like GTA, was it Destiny is close to 200 million pounds, so it's about what about 250, $300 million just to make one game.
Wow.
It's you compare it to something like the original Doom was meant to be big budget, and that was $100,000 in fucking John Romero's fucking garage.
Well, that's another problem. So many the budgets of so many of these games is so bloated that they have to make all the money in order to be profitable. And some games that's justified. Grand Theft Auto 5 can afford to spend the GDP of a small nation making it because it knows it's going to make that back several times over. But when you're just starting franchises and shit like Destiny or The Order 1886 or something, these games shouldn't be that expensive. That's way too much of a gamble on an IP that isn't proven.
You've got to be reasonable to what your IP has. I mean, look at a couple more games that are announced. You've got a new Doom 2018 or 2019's been announced, a new Doom sequel. That's going to spend probably more than the first 20. When did Doom? I think Doom
2016.
Yeah, 2016. And that's going to be set on Earth. That's basically going to be kind of a Hell on Earth remake, or at least.
Oh yeah, that trailer looked great. I love seeing the Pain Elemental and the Revenant in there. Yeah, that looked great.
But they're going to do that sort of stuff, and they've even announced, if I remember correctly, this is kind of not E3. Was it the new Doom movie, which is going to be a Netflix exclusive? So don't worry too much. It's not going to cause too much damage. Because if you saw some of the Instagram stuff and the IMDb, it's like apparently the main protagonist is not even going to be a fucking male.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Hey, I think the original Doom movie is kind of entertaining to watch from time to time.
Yeah, it's dumb comic value.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing that drives me nuts about the original Doom movie is that it just has nothing. Like, I like the element of the source material where you're mixing the supernatural and sci-fi, where it's actually a hellmouth and that sort of thing. And then in the Doom movie, it's like this is a virus that turns people into zombies, except sometimes it turns people into monsters.
Yeah,
so
they made it Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's just Resident Evil in space. I want. Though, in all fairness, we did get a Doom movie. It's called Event Horizon. The Event Horizon is a better Doom movie than the Doom movie.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Dwayne Johnson would actually make a good Doom Marine.
Oh, the elements were there. If you'd have just actually been a little bit more faithful to the source material, you could have made that a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah, just add you could make a disturbing horror film. Just add some religious stuff and like the fucking upside down crosses, and there you go. You've got a Doom movie.
Yeah, it's demons in space. It should be a grand old time.
Is there anything else for E3?
Battletoads. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on at some point. I'm not going to get an Xbox for it, but I wouldn't mind playing the new Battletoads if I maybe can get it on PC or something.
That's a funny way of pronouncing combat amphibians.
Well, to me, the Death Stranding doesn't look interesting. Like, I know we talked about that beforehand, but I'll mention it here. I'm not, I was interested in it beforehand, but seeing the new trailer, I'm not really interested in it anymore.
I'll say this right now. Hideo Kojima is a hack, and I wish to live in a timeline where John Carpenter sued his ass for Metal Gear Solid being such a massive rip-off of Escape from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was never a fan of his anyway, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'll say one last thing on Hideo Kojima. I'll give the guy some credit. Is it the PT, the playable teaser? Was it for Silent Hill? It did look good, and it's a shame that did get guyed because Guillermo del Toro can occasionally do some good stuff. And it's a shame that, because I don't know if you guys saw a lot of the teaser stuff, they did a game that looked very well done, but it being cut off by Konami going crazy. As I say, we'll never see what could have been a good game.
Well, see, that's the thing that got me excited about Death Stranding was the PT trailer, because it's like, okay, you're getting all the same people back for a new game. That's great. Like, and that's what made me excited. I was like, okay, I don't really know what's going on, but like, if you look at it, it looks really rough in some of this footage. And that would be the other thing I'd say is, what was with Sony to where every game that they had to have somebody walking next to like a waterfall or something?
That was a euphemism for all the women getting so excited.
I mean, I've never seen so many people walking in a game, and it's like, this is treated as this is something special. It's like, this is boring. Why would you want to show this?
Well, that was Sony had a slight spurge out with the flute dude. It's like, yeah, we get this 1 in a million sort of expert in knowing how to use a certain musical instrument, and the first thing liberals do is say, why do you have a white dude in yellow face?
Jeez. Well, what was the other thing where everybody got all ass blasted because Todd Howard said degenerates? There was a furry on Twitter that Mr. Mediger was making fun of, where he was ass blasted as fuck. He even called Todd's language depraved, which a furry calling something depraved is pretty fucking funny.
Oh, we've got it's brilliant trigger, and it's same with the Mech America Great Again.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, so much salt.
Degenerates.
It's like, why do you care that this man who's like 4'11" is calling you a degenerate? It doesn't matter.
It's normalizing the word.
But
what's the worst thing?
Of that? There's been too much normalizing the actual action.
It's like, oh no, your fucking kettle's gonna play Skyrim. What's the worst thing that can happen if Todd Howard fucks you over?
You're gonna start getting make Skyrim great again mods.
He's trying to make us feel bad for being furries. Well, you should.
Undertow's not here, so I can say this. I used to be an all-righter, but then I took an arrow in the knee.
all this Furafenny stuff almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Well, you won't have to worry about that with North Korea.
Only 90s kids will remember
that. Let's see what else we got going on. All right, moving on from E3. Real quick, I'm going to do the sponsors because I keep forgetting to do the sponsors. We have super chats available if any of you want to hit up the super chats. I didn't stream through Streamlabs, so it won't show up on the screen, but I will read them out if any of you do that. And also, we got the Patreon where you can send a one-time, or the Patreon where you can become a regular supporter. The PayPal where you can send a one-time donation. We got the Amazon wish list. You can support me there, and any kind of media that's gotten for me off the Amazon wish list, I will do a review of. There's already a couple of books and a game I'm working through to get reviews of them done. And this week's sponsors, we have Asshole Consulting, Aaron Clary, give you the big brotherly advice that you never got. Trained economist Aaron Clary, you should definitely listen to his advice. I've suffered myself from ignoring it in the past. And also, you have Steve's Jerky. And Steve's Jerky is just fantastic. If you haven't gotten yourself some Steve's Jerky, you need to do that because it's just absolutely great. I love it. People that have called in love it. People in the chat have said they love it. Really, really good stuff.
I've actually curious question on the Steve's Jerky. I know he doesn't obviously import the veterinary license, but how much would he actually expect from someone if I was to ask him to get beef jerky with the license?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I wouldn't know how much that would run him.
Well, if you want to mortgage your house, Steve's Jerky is a safe bet.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how much that would run. So, alrighty. So, let's see. What else did we get to? What order should I say we want to get to? Oh, here we go. Let's look at a nice little article. This is off Comic Book Resources. Now, Comic Book Resources is probably by far the most left wing of the comic book news sites. Let me bring up the article. And Luke, I'm gonna throw this in the chat. And this is Sending Questions for Comic Book Writer Mark Waid by Brian Cronin. Mark Waid, current writer of Marvel's Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and the Wasp and Archie Comics, Archie, and past writer of several other questions, is ready to take your several other comics ready to take your questions. Let me get to that. Okay, so we'll be taking reader submitted questions until Thursday, June 21st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Send your questions to brianc@cbr.com. That's BRIANC@cbr.com. And I'll ask a bunch of them to Mark next week. No guarantee your questions will be answered, of course, but the odds are pretty good. I'm thinking the odds are pretty bad, actually, that my question's going to get answered. So some of the questions you'll see in the comments down below. If you click the comments, go up a little bit there, Luke. There you go. You see it, right? Comments. Let's see. We have, did you leave the knife in Ethan Van Sciver's back or remove it for future use on people you also or people who also thought you were their friends? At what point were you appointed gatekeeper of the comic book industry, and by whom? Do you find it rewarding keeping people out who don't share your political opinions? All of this is just like, fuck you, Mark. All of these. Race Jacobson, on again, off again sponsor, has a troll question of, how old is your wife's black son? When will you get plastic surgery for your resting cuck face? I asked, why do you feel it's appropriate or professional for you to wage war against independent comic book jawbreakers and its creator? And does doing this on Marvel's time constitute a violation of antitrust laws on the part of Marvel/Disney? This is basically, I have to.
This is impressive hate, man.
Yeah, and when the first I saw this, I saw it on a Facebook post on CBR's Facebook page, and all the questions there are the same deal. Like, why are you such a shithead? This is this girl asked, why did you kill Starfire in Kingdom Come? That's the only remotely not. It's the only other question. The only question I saw that isn't, fuck you. Now, for those of you not familiar, Mark Waid is a longtime comic book writer, and he waged war to get Diversity in Comics, the YouTube channel. He crowdfunded a comic book he wanted to create called Jawbreakers, and Mark Waid is doing his absolute best to ruin this man and to keep him from having his book see the light of day. Mark Waid threatened to beat up Diversity in Comics at a con once, which is fucking hilarious because Diversity in Comics is like a fucking Marine, from what I understand. And Mark
is he a real Marine or is he a desk Marine like Patrick Little?
Either one. Mark Waid's T levels are lower than Bill Clinton's white blood cell count, so Mark Waid's not beating up anybody. I mean, it's not as bad as Dan Slott, who hasn't seen his dick since the Spice Girls were touring, but still. This is hilarious, and I want now the people at Comic Book Resources are about as left wing as they come, and I wonder. First of all, if I was Mark Waid right now, I'd be keeping my head down because Mark Waid is going to get his ass sued. All right. Like, Diversity in Comics has talked about, and I think he's even moving forward with suing them because what Mark Waid did is very much against the law, very much violation of antitrust laws. And there's plenty of evidence that he's done it in Marvel's name and on Marvel's dime, which is serious, serious shit. If I was Mark, I would be keeping my head down. But like a typical leftist, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. He thinks he's untouchable. I would be amazed if Brian here at CBR is not very, very shocked at the questions he got in his email. And I would invite any of you who are remotely interested in this story to email. Yes, it's all fun and games to put it in the comments and stuff like that. But no, email this man. Make this man's email flooded with questions for Mark. In fact, if you're on Twitter, tweet this at Razorfist. Razorfist might have something to say on the issue. I know he's a big fan of Mr. Waid. But yeah, this did not go the way they were expecting. Somebody in the chat says DNC was infantry. So well, okay then. Yeah, good luck on that, Mark. Good luck on that.
It's like the equivalent of a substitute teacher asking for input to his lesson, and everyone just shits on him.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that poll that Huffington Post did when it was like the LGBT rights or chicken tendies, and like 99% of the vote was for chicken tendies, and like 1% was LGBT.
Oh yeah, when they were going off about Chick-fil-A.
It's like, oh, that ended badly.
Yeah, you know, best with the internet's tendies.
You don't fuck with tendies.
Oh, not the most flattering picture, is it?
Yeah.
Who is that? Is he on a sex register, this man?
That's the author of the article.
I really don't. I don't think his email was going the way it hasn't, or going the way he thought.
He's got that look. He's got that Bob Chipman look. You know how you look at Bob Chipman, you look at him, you think, yeah, he's tried to rub his cock up against a school bus window, hasn't he? He's got that sort of look.
Probably specific.
He probably has. It's a question. They can't do me if I ask a question.
It's a question. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. Has he posted nudes to school children? Maybe.
Why isn't anyone asking? Yeah, these questions are fucking great.
Have we got some highlights? Let's have a look.
One of them. Did you lawyer up already, Mark? Do you consider yourself a communist? Why are you and other Marvel writers conspiring in private online chat rooms, threatening other comic creators online, and doing things like plots to confront them at public events? Oh, by the way, another funny thing on Twitter, Gail Simone had a tweet about how, like, if you want to, and Gail Simone's another hyper leftist in this industry, and she was all like, if you want to be in the comic book industry, I want to help. It'll be tough, but we can make it happen. And everyone's response under it is like, unless they're, you know, to the right of Bill Clinton, right, Gail? Do you feel any shame or remorse for what you did to Antarctic Press?
Has he actually? When is his responding date? Is he doing an actual video?
Here's the thing: he's going to be interviewed live by this guy. Let me see if I can find the thing. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a video or on here or whatever. But anyways, if the author of this article doesn't ask these questions, then obviously Mark Waid's not going to answer them. Probably wouldn't answer them anyways. So none of these questions are going to make their way to Mark, but it's telling that this is what's under the Yeah,
telling you just how much everyone hates this motherfucker.
I'm doubting it's going to be live because he'll just get 100 questions with, did Gold Cart do nothing wrong?
Oh, dude, if it was like live, the live stream would just be nothing more than, you know, like.
It'd be AC2 swastikas and dicks and
yeah, just Hitler PNGs.
Well, I recently noticed. I recently learned. I think it was sometime this week because there was that article on Huffington Post about if you support LGBT people, you can't eat at Chick-fil-A anymore. Well, I learned that while Huffington Post doesn't have a traditional comment section, they do have a button at the bottom where you can suggest corrections to articles if you think that there's some fake news going on. So I went ahead and made a suggestion of my own. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick so Luke could throw it up here. Here we go. Luke, perhaps you could show them my suggestion. And by the way, this is at the bottom of Huffington Post articles, so you can all suggest corrections of your own if you're so inclined. And you know, now you have to give a name and you have to give an email address. Of course, you know, nothing verifies that name or email address. So go nuts, folks. But I made a little suggestion, Luke, if you can bring that up. A little correction to that article. Oh, there we go. Yeah, today I learned that Huffington Post has little buttons at the bottom where you can suggest corrections. And I suggested that the author should kill himself. So, yeah, if y'all want to make suggestions, feel free.
You reminded me, actually. Did anyone pick up on the whole 4chan's trying to spur on a new movement with the whole bisexuality implies two genders thing?
So that's a 4chan prank? I wasn't even sure. I
It's
saw it
currently
get passed
something
around.
they're trying to put. Some of the memes are 4chan, but that's regardless of 4chan, it still actually puts an whole point. Bi implies two. That's the whole point. Binoculars equals two lenses.
Yeah.
So doesn't that imply two genders?
Yeah. So the 4chan prank is take the B out of LGBTQ element of P because bi means two genders.
That's not just a thing, because people have been banned from the sort of LGBT barbecue OMFG sort of Reddit. That doesn't bi imply two? Then you mean that? Then you have to remove it. You see, they end up in.
Was that article the one you responded to, Bechtloff? The one with the tagline, "You have to choose between gay people or your stomach."
Yeah, I think I'll choose the thing that keeps me alive.
Yeah, sodomy versus starvation. That's a really hard choice.
As somebody said in the comment section, chicken tendies don't give you AIDS.
Although if they're too spicy, they might destroy your butthole.
Well, we are talking about Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is good, wholesome food. Okay, this isn't some nasty ass KFC or Popeyes. You know, the food there is actually quality.
We cover it in cayenne pepper.
Hey, yeah, don't diss Popeyes. Fucking Bechtloff will have you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love me some Popeyes.
Popeyes is good. You need to find a Popeyes that is run by white people, and those are increasingly short supply.
Any restaurant, you've got to just find the area. I mean, if you're going to be in the middle of Detroit, your KFC is going to be a bit shit. I mean, I've had McDonald's where it's perfectly fine. It's what you pay for, what you get. Whereas I've had places where KFC is absolutely abysmal.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my area, but I mean, Popeyes, for trying to be, Louisiana cooking and everything, it's some of the blandest chicken I've ever had. I expected it to be like spicy or something, but.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe I know nothing. Then again, the English teaching the Americans to cook is like the blind leading the one-eyed.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, don't you guys have like don't you guys have like a boiled goose anus for breakfast?
I've never heard of boiled goose anus. It's not. I hate to be the cunt who says this, but it's not that the English can't cook. It's just we don't care. We just eat paste every morning.
You're too busy trying to not get raped by Muslims.
Or get arrested for what you say.
Yeah, or get arrested for what you say.
Well, it's all cheap food. Look at the most famous English food. It's basically a sandwich. Fuck it. We'll put something in between two slices of bread. That will do.
Oh, there's also the delicacy known as spotted dick.
Yeah, but that's just pudding. That's just pastry. It's a meme name. What is spotted dick? It's like fucking raisins, isn't it?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I don't know what spotted dick. I'm not ever going to eat something called spotted dick.
You're the Englishman here.
Well, I'm technically
He's actually
Irish.
not. He's just been doing an accent the whole time.
Yeah.
He's from Tennessee now, actually.
Yeah.
I'm technically Irish.
No, I'm actually Cardassian. Thank you very much.
You're from the rainy socialist islands. You're English. It's like the quote from House, where like House, calls Chase British, and he's like, "I'm Australian," and House replies, "You put the Queen on your money. You're British."
Well, let's put this. Let's sell this right now about food. You guys get dictated to by fucking Gordon Ramsay. Don't tell any Englishman about food when you have an angry Scot come at you for boiling burgers or whatever you guys do.
Boiling burgers?
Boiling burgers.
Have you seen that stuff? There's a hotel in the US that fucking boils cooked hamburgers.
Where is that place? I want to go there.
I almost kind of want to try that.
No, he boils cooked like this. Can't like Gordon Ramsay's still a thing. I don't know how.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't watch.
We Americans love getting yelled at and getting told how stupid we are. Apparently, this is why leftists exist.
Yeah, but that's what I don't get though. Like, you guys should just shoot Gordon Ramsay, but you don't. You just let him carry on making you semi-decent food.
Speaking of the fact that we love getting yelled at, here's another story. We have a story of dominatrix turned cop can keep her job if she passes psych exam. So the New Jersey dominatrix turned cop was offered a deal that would let her keep her job if she passed a psychiatric exam showing she didn't like beating the pulp out of perps, sources told the Post. This is off of, what is this, wsbuzz.com? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. The offer from the Hudson County Sheriff Office to the stunning beat cop, Kristen Hyman, came in advance of a court showdown slated for last Thursday that was postponed, according to two sources familiar with the negotiations. The department's, quote, worst nightmare is if she's out there and she's really a dominatrix type and beats the shit out of somebody, unquote, the first source said. Quote, the county would be liable, unquote. Hyman also refused to sign a waiver saying she wouldn't sue the department, the source said. A county insider confirmed the offer and the department's fear she might be inclined towards excessive force. Hyman's newly hired lawyer, Douglas Anton, would not confirm or deny the existence of such an offer. Quote, there has been discussions between the parties about an amicable solution. If the psych exam was an offer, I would have to discuss it with my client as I would any offer. We are looking to have her start working, unquote, Anton said. The lawyer noted Hyman has been inducted into the PBA union and has the support of her fellow officers. Hyman, 30, a rookie sheriff's officer, was suspended without pay last month when her boss learned of dozens of Baldy beatdown videos she made between 2008 and 2012. Kristen Hyman, AP. The department charged she was an embarrassment to the force, lied on job applications about her previous career, and failed to disclose she, quote, sometimes saw clients privately for money, unquote. But Hyman insisted in an interview with the Post last week that she was a struggling actress when she starred as a latex-clad domina Nix Blake in kinky bondage films, and that her S&M persona was, quote, scripted. She claimed she never performed sex acts and above. Quote, there was no prostitution. There was nothing that can be considered escorting of any kind, unquote, Hyman told the Post. This is fantastic. It's not quite the retard sex article I was hoping for, but amusing nonetheless. Let's see. Oh, wow. Luke's found some pictures. Is that her? That's not bad. Let's see.
Be right back. All the blood is going to Bechtloff's erection.
Yep.
I'm not sure if this is her, but it might be.
Can I have a link for scientific purposes?
Yeah, gotta do some research later. Alrighty. Somebody in the chat just said I'd love her to stomp my nuts. That's a little bit rougher than I can go for. Somebody else in the chat says love is love, bigot. And David Serini chimes in, it's legal where I do it. What else did we have here?
Is there more retard sex?
Damn.
I found a censored picture of her, someone kicking someone in the balls, actually.
Okay, then. By all means, Luke. By all means.
Luke, how do you find this? You're too innocent for this world.
Google isn't.
Luke has a Teflon soul. All right, nothing. Everything just washes right off of it. Let's see.
Oh my, is that her?
I think so.
Wait, are those two guys blindfolded?
Yep.
What were they expecting when they came there? Why did they need to be blindfolded?
It's anticipation, arousal.
I'm just gonna be standing there, mind my own business.
Yeah, they didn't even know they were being filmed. That's just how they like to walk in the park. All right, so we got another retard sex article just in time for Father's Day. This is by the good folks at CNN, so you know it's good.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
CNN He gave birth. He breastfed. Now he wants his son to see him as a man. Wow, the title alone is fake news, CNN. That's fucking fantastic. No, she gave birth. She breastfed, and she's mentally ill, and she wants to be called a man. And oh my god,
What's his name?
oh jeez, look at the big old scars where this mentally deranged woman's titties used to be.
Oh wow, his gut's bigger than mine.
Pretty fucking hairy too. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
Bring me Captain Solo.
Oh jeez. Oh, look at that. Oh jeez.
How do
And
you
there's
have a dude?
He has no nipples. I mean,
Yeah,
she has
how
no
do-
nipples.
Yeah, he removed the titties. Why?
Yeah, but they typically keep the nipples. Dude, how painful
I think
is that?
he did it himself in the garage.
It's like 5. Yeah, here's 10 hours in Microsoft Paint.
You know what?
This should-
And you know what the worst part is? Given all these new males running around, if he has his shirt on, he can probably pass.
Oh, he goddamn it. She is passable.
Oh.
All right, CNN, let's see what we're in for.
Is the lady in the background the other mother?
I think so. Yeah, Angel
No.
Sparks.
No, this is a Blumhouse film. That's actually the demon in the background.
The close-up doesn't help.
I thought that was the fat vampire from the first Blade movie.
No, that's the couch.
Oh, jeez.
It's the grin.
Oh, did that thing start out as a man?
She
one of
has
those
Sebastian-
where they both switched?
I don't know. I don't.
Wait, so is that meant to be the man? Or is the man?
You know, it's a good thing we got Pastor Tom on here because I got a theological question. Because there's one aspect of my faith I really have a hard time swallowing sometimes, and that's the idea that all human beings have worth. Look at that thing and tell me it has worth.
Both have worth. It's just both are suppressing the truth and unrighteousness. I mean, to get all theological, this is Romans 1 fully lived out.
Wait, Tom,
I mean,
have you got
completely given over?
Have you got a passage that says this? Can God lift a woman that big or man? Because I'm assuming he doesn't deal with hermaphrodites or whatever the fuck we call them, freaks.
And that is an innocent child. See, that's the infuriating thing. If two freaks want to run their lives into the fucking dirt, you know, you could certainly take the libertarian perspective of they're not hurting anybody, whatever. But that is an innocent child that has been born into this fucking freak show.
But see, they need the child. They need the child to feel normal. The child allows.
I'm pretty sure the one needs to eat it.
This is a Satan. I mean, I don't believe in this Satanist stuff, but it probably is.
I mean, they can say, "See, we're normal. We're like everybody else. We even have a child." I mean, that's the purpose of that child is to add to the lie.
That thing on the right looks like something, you know, immigrants tell their kids, like a monster from the old country to scare them.
It's Krampus. Oh, jeez.
How much salt do you think it would take to kill her? I reckon it'd take maybe half a kilogram, and she'd fucking shrink down to half her size.
Mr. English Colonel telling me to lose weight. Oh, Mama, Casey says. Well, what's up, Jim? It's a baby. Oh, hi, baby. The other white meat. It's what's for dinner.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
All right, let's get into this article, shall we? Holy shit. Like many new dads, Sebastian Sparks knew parenting would come with serious challenges. But most new dads don't give birth to their children. No correction or CNN, no dads give birth to their children.
Wait, which one's Sebastian?
I assume it's the thing that cut its titties off. they didn't breastfeed them, and they don't endure glares from strangers when they go shopping with their wife and their toddler son. Sebastian, 24, is a transgendered man who lives with his wife, Angel, in suburban Atlanta. Assigned the female gender at birth.
Assigned, like someone just handed them a slip.
Yeah, like it was like the doctor rolled a dice. He began transitioning 5 years ago. It's a process that felt more complete last month when he had surgery to remove his breasts. Oh, I'm dying a little inside, like just reading this. With Father's Day approaching, Sebastian finds himself thinking about gender roles and what it means to be a dad. He wants Jackson, their 20-month-old son, to have as normal a childhood as possible. Well, you know what? We don't get what we want in this life, do we?
How can the child have a normal childhood?
Wait, what country are they? Are they US or UK?
Atlanta, that's
US.
US.
What state?
Atlanta.
Georgia.
Or no, Georgia, yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. That's
It's
actually a
happening
really
in
big
the
city.
South. It's happening in the fucking Bible Belt.
They're freak jobs.
You can't quite count Atlanta, though.
You know, like what Common Phil said about how Hicks are just as degenerate as urbanites?
Well, in all fairness, you're looking at. I mean, what actual news organization reported on these guys in the first place? Was it like Salon or Vox?
It
Or...
was CNN.
Oh, so even worse.
This article is just fake news out the ass, too. All this.
Yeah.
He was assigned fuck you.
I guarantee
He was assigned a gender by nature itself. Okay. That's what. No, I'm sorry, she. Damn it, you got me doing it.
Calling now, this kid kills himself in 10 years from now or 20. Definitely kills himself, and CNN is going to
hopefully he kills
on.
Them first.
Well, no, that's going to be the triple suicide. Chris, don't leave the juicy bits out.
Or she's just going to eat the two of them.
And now I actually do want some baby back ribs.
What my baby back.
Luke, you cunt.
Luke, seriously, you got to put some eye bleach up on this screen. Google St. Vincent, put that up. Taylor Swift, anything.
Yeah, get some Liz Vicious up here or something.
Where's the redheads?
Get women who aren't pretending to be men, and trolls who aren't pretending to be human.
But I mean, this woman here is so given over to a depraved mindset that she disfigures her own body. You know, her God-given body, the thing that, part of the things that make her female, that identify her as female, her breast, her mammaries, and she has those removed. Just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I have to think that, because if you cut your dick off, or if you're a woman and you cut your breasts off, to me, that's just an issue. There's something about that just screams self-hate to me. Just utterly self-hate.
Well, I'll put it this way.
I mean, me and my dick are like this, okay? That
doesn't really work when we can't see it.
Yeah, Chris, we can't see. No, enable webcam.
I was doing the fingers crossed thing. We're tight, all right? I can't imagine wanting to cut that off. And I can't imagine a woman wanting to cut her titties off. There's just something about that just screams absolute self-hatred to me.
Well, to put it perfect, I guarantee I'll put at least a few £100,000 of money, which I totally do have. I guarantee one of these two were basically molested as kids or massively.
£100,000 is a funny thing to say, given who we're talking about there.
Okay, a few $1,000s. I won't put my money in weight. I'll put it in actual dollars. I guarantee one of these two were basically fucked as a kid, and that's not a jokingly way. I guarantee one of them was sort of messed up.
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
So what you're saying is that Shuanhead is going to be a tranny in about 5 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's going bald. She could go for the Davis Marini look. She's going to just Pritt stick. She's going to glue some fucking beard on and say...
In all fairness, it's going to be a really funny video when she does go bald and she does the Davis Marini impersonation.
The thing is, she's going to have Armored Skeptic's skull on the background saying, I'm the real Davis Marini.
Well, here's the thing. I never quite understood about the trannies. Like, they're focused on sex and whatnot, but like, how could having sex after transition even be remotely enjoyable? I mean, we know in the case of male to female trannies, their vagina is just an open wound that they have to continuously dilate. And I know after reading the testosterone files that in the case of female to male trannies, their cock is just their clit, which apparently gets enlarged after continuous testosterone injections.
How fucking big can you possibly make a clit, though? I mean, isn't that going to be like just like basically the Amazing Atheist dick? It's going to be, you know, you want to turn into a man with a tiny dick?
Yeah, and you can't exactly, you know.
And now you know why he supports LGBTQ issues. I mean,
well, this is gonna be a great myth for Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman to find out.
He's trying to alter the curve, you know.
Next time on MythBusters.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I contend, and you know, you're obviously comparing two very degenerate things here, but I contend that it is considerably grosser. It is considerably more disturbed to knowingly fuck a post-op, quote unquote, female tranny than a pre-op. Because if you're fucking a pre-op, that's just sodomy. Okay, yeah, that's not really a good thing. But when you're fucking a post-op, you are fucking an open wound, and that is Hellraiser Cenobite shit. Okay, they didn't even feel the need to tell you not to do that in the Bible. Okay, because it hadn't occurred to anybody yet.
It's like, what's the difference between a post-op tranny and Lena Dunham? Not much.
Fuckers. Legitimate trigger warning for what I'm about to say here. Trans women have to sit, often in extreme pain, and dilate their artificial vaginas with dildos for up to 5 times a day for months after sex reassignment surgery, and must continue to spend between 20 minutes to an hour dilating at least once a week for the rest of their lives. Hair frequently grows inside the artificial vagina, which needs to be manually plucked. Urination is usually messy and potentially highly embarrassing because it gets all over the place. Here's some fucked up shit. They will continue often to get erections, particularly if at any point they stop taking their hormones, which causes an uncomfortable or even incredibly painful swelling of the artificial vagina, given that it is made with penile tissue.
Oh, well, thanks for that information, Aiden.
Mind
Paladin.
you, is there much difference between a pre-op tranny and Aiden Paladin?
But see, you know, understanding that, it also makes much more sense. And I mean, I don't mean this comically. I mean, I'm being serious here. Like, it does make sense why the suicide rate so dramatically increases after, you know, the operation. I mean, who could possibly want to live like that for a long time?
Oh my god. Like,
I mean, that sounds absolutely horrible to live like.
I know, like, I sound like an SJW right now, but I'm like literally shaking. Like, her going through that description was like, it hurt just to hear about it. Oh my god. You know, as degenerate as it is to end up going like pre-op tranny, for a man to just create the illusion that he's a woman, and to tuck his, you know, to be tucking his twig and berries between his legs and get fucked up the ass like a faggot. That is nothing compared to the nightmare of being a post-op. I can't, like, holy shit, dude. It's not, I know I use the analogy too much, but that is Cenobite shit. Okay, that is, you might as well be turned into a Cenobite. You might as well have nails and fish hooks all through you.
I know there's always an accusation of us that we hate these people, but no, if you're willing to let people go through that, you hate them. You genuinely hate these people.
And if you're going to support that and celebrate that and encourage them in doing that, you hate them.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I am capable of a great deal of rage. I am capable of I have a deep reservoir of rage in my soul. God forgive me. I can't think of a human being on this planet I would wish that existence on.
The problem I think we've faced as a society is not how, because these people have kind of always existed. It's just that only in recent times we've actually indulged it and said, yeah, that's fucking natural. You're perfectly normal like everyone else. No, if someone says that to me and I'm like, I'm not going to hate them, but I'm like, yeah, you need help. I can't offer that, but you need to find someone, you know.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, I guess a little bit of a weird analogy, but it's kind of like someone who can't use their legs. You know, they were born without the use of their legs, but sort of telling them, no, you're perfectly normal. You can walk. And so like denying them a wheelchair because, you know, then they'd feel like they're different.
Well, you know, I always used to, years ago when they started calling retarded kids special, I always used to cringe at that because, first of all, no, you're not special. Okay. You know, Mozart and Einstein were special. All right. Special has a good connotation. So when you call retarded kids special, aren't you saying that it's good that he's retarded? And isn't that like some horrifying thing a sociopath says? Like this bad thing that has happened to you is a good thing? That's horrifying.
Well, that just goes with the climate we've had of people saying everyone has to be special winners. We can't admit faults. We can't correct problems, because when you admit, like, for example, everyone has to be winners with races and just general sort of athletic stuff, when we can't tell people, yeah, do you know what, you were slow, maybe improve next year, you might get a trophy. We can't do that anymore. Same with obviously all of this stuff. Because we can't do that, we're never going to be able to obviously solve this problem.
And when everyone's special,
No one will.
Everyone's the
will
same.
be.
And yeah, I don't dispute that gender dysphoria is a real mental condition that people really suffer from. Where I dispute with the horrifying, quote unquote, general ideas out there is I don't think that I don't think the solution to that is to mutilate your body until it kind of resembles your delusion. The solution to that is to bring your diseased, deluded mind in line with reality.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, someone has gender dysphoria, that, that alone does not mean it's like, oh, well, now we hate them. Now we have to treat them like they're less than human or anything like that. But, right, exactly. It is the treatment that we disagree with. It's better to bring the mind in orientation around reality rather than trying to orient reality around what the mind is saying.
There are people that feel like one of their arms or legs is a foreign object on their body. They have whatever reason, their nervous system isn't firing right, and that limb does not feel right, and it is a constant, uncomfortable thing to them, and they want to chop that limb off. The solution to that disease, which is a real neurological disease, is to cure them of that, is to bring their diseased mind and their diseased brain in line with the fact that, no, this is your damn arm. It's not to be cut off. All right. And we all agree with that in society. No one, except for maybe the craziest of fringes right now, is disputing that. Why that logic goes out the window if they feel the same way about their dick is beyond me.
Because those people didn't have as much money and media to support their cause.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, I think the problem ultimately is with sexual abuse as kids. I think once you can't address the fact that most people who are usually either homosexual or end up becoming or wanting to be fucking the other gender, as they put it, you can usually look at their fucking past history and realize these are not normally the most fucking sane people. It's not to say, again, the problem is you get a lot of the sort of trad Catholic or just generally more zealous types say throw these guys into gas chamber. No, these are still people. You can still try to fix and be fucking humane, but at the end of the day, don't treat them like the left has said and said, no, you're perfectly normal. That's the wrong way.
Well, there's a difference between recognizing someone's humanity and that, there's something going on psychologically or emotionally or, some kind of traumatic past versus, like Bechtloff was saying, and indulging in that.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly the analogy that he was using with the people who feel like that, they shouldn't have the left arm or their right arm or something. You're more acknowledging their humanity by wanting them to see the beauty in their gender or, their sex, that kind of thing, rather than, having them mutilate their body and go through that living hell that we just heard in the video.
Yeah, and let's also, it needs to be understood what a nightmare this is. It's not like we have some technology where we can actually change your sex. That doesn't exist. Hell, they don't have that in Star Trek, okay? We don't have that technology there. And I know they don't even call it that much, but there's no such thing as a sex change operation, okay? There are procedures where we will chemically and surgically mutilate your body until it kind of resembles the opposite sex with varying degrees of success in that illusion. That's it. All right. Nobody's going to turn you into a girl or into a boy. All right. That kind of technology doesn't exist. It might make an interesting premise for a sci-fi novel, what society would be like if that technology did exist. But here in the real world, that technology doesn't exist, and it's not very likely ever to exist. You were born a woman, you were born female, you're going to die female. You were born male, you're going to die male. You might turn yourself into a hideous monster along the way, but that doesn't change that, XX is female, XY is male.
And is there a small percentage of people who are hermaphrodites? Yes. These are the exception. There is not, the percentage is so low of these people though that it's not even should be factored into any type of statistics though.
And even with them, they're genetically one sex or another. They just have the growth of.
Well, and again, even a smaller percentage of that, yeah, you can even have some genetic, defects or anything like that. But again, this is so small that to try to make some sort of universal ruling off of that, based off of just this one incident, is like, well, we just need to throw out the I before E except after C rule because of words like weird.
Oh man. So a couple other articles I want to talk about. Let me see if I can find.
Former psychiatrist in chief at Johns Hopkins Hospital puts it, quote, "At the heart of the problem is confusion over the nature of the transgender. Sex change is biologically impossible. People who undergo sex reassignment surgery do not change from men to women or vice versa. Rather, they become feminized men or masculinized women. Claiming that this is a civil rights matter and encouraging surgical intervention is in reality to collaborate with and promote a mental disorder."
Is that Cantwell?
Yeah, that did sound like Cantwell.
Back when he was sane.
Well, did you hear meth going up his arsehole? It probably isn't.
No, I think that was Cantwell. Cantwell had some fantastic things back in the day.
Is he still contacting YouTube via Ouija board from prison or whatever he's doing?
I'm not sure. We're going to answer an age-old question among libertarians. Who will pave the roads? Well, it turns out Domino's Pizza is the answer. But who will build the roads? The answer is Domino's Pizza. This article is off LATimes.com. Drive down Pass Avenue just north of Burbank Boulevard in Burbank, and you'll notice there are no potholes in the roads, and that's thanks to Domino's Pizza. Yes, the restaurant chain, which has been rebranding its image for several years, decided it should pave roads for its customers and delivery drivers to offer them a smoother ride while transporting their boxes of pizza. The campaign called Paving for Pizza was announced on Monday, but dozens of streets have already been repaired. There have been 150 potholes repaired in Athens, Georgia, 40 in Milford, Delaware, and 8 in Bartonville, Texas. Domino's also tended to 5 potholes in Burbank on Pass Avenue between Burbank Boulevard and Hatteras Street, a project city officials didn't know about until after it happened. They're like the superheroes of construction. They should have been wearing masks and capes while they did this.
They're the heroes we deserve,
said city spokeswoman Simon McFarland. She said the work was done at the end of January after officials representing Domino's pulled a film permit from the Burbank Police Department and an I can't talk today. Excavation permit from the city's Public Works Department. McFarland said those in charge of the project in Burbank used Paveco Inc., a paving business Burbank often uses for its street repair needs. Though she and the city appreciates the kind gesture by Domino's, McFarland said it would take more than patching up 5 whole potholes to improve Burbank streets. What an ignorant ass fucking thing to say!
Yeah, well,
can you imagine? Like, to go with the superhero analogy, imagine if the cops were mad at Batman because he's not going on enough patrols. Like, he's doing your job, motherfucker.
Do you know what? I'll be slightly an arsehole. It's like, how much do they charge for a large pizza in Domino's over there? Is it like $15, $12?
I think it's 15.
15. With how much a pizza costs, I expect them to fix my roads.
Luke, I don't know where that Domino's ad you got. That's fucking hilarious. Is that
Mind
a
you,
real Domino's ad? Like,
John, that it's gonna remind me of that Bill Hicks fucking stand-up bit. It's like when they legalize weed, it's literally just gonna be convoys of Domino's trucks across the country, just delivering pizza everywhere.
This is a real print advertisement running in Israel for Domino's Sakari Pizza.
Well, gosh, if they play their cards right, they could get that cop lady to do their advertisements.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, she might be looking for work here soon.
There is a semi-serious point to be seen here. We see how governments have become so bankrupt, useless, and corrupt that corporations have to step up to fulfill the basic roles of governance. Like, okay, potholes in the roads. That's literally what we pay taxes for.
Yeah,
to
that's
fix
like
this
the
shit.
first thing the government's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, it shows. Well, it's tied into how, like, for example, you have like Dick's and all these places that, like, they ban certain type selling guns to like under 21. They enforce other policies, all this LGBT stuff. The government is no longer the primary source of power in our society. We're living in the dystopic future where corporations run everything. Now they're fixing the roads.
Well, at least there's an upside to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll heard somewhere that Domino's was putting its like logo on the fixed potholes, like painting its logo on there. I didn't see this in this article, but I could have sworn I saw that somewhere. If they're doing that, that's hilarious.
At least Domino's might actually fix the roads that need to be fixed. Every time I see anybody out there, it's like, why are you fixing this road? This road's fine. Like, you had to cross the horrible road with 20 potholes in it to get to this road.
I'll give Domino's.
Probably for the same reason that the London police, ignore actual criminals but prosecute like people who say mean words on Facebook because it's easier for them.
Are you trying to get me arrested for me? Please, come on.
They did.
I think.
Did it. Is that real?
Oh yes, we did. I hope this is real.
Please, hope that's real.
But who will build the roads?
I can't wait in the future when Domino's has to give me my fucking joke license so I can crack jokes about Princess Diana and dead Irish babies.
Oh, before and after. Here we go.
That's fucking fantastic. The city didn't even know they were doing it.
Oh, that can't be real. Now, someone go there. What street is this?
Let's see.
Yeah, get someone to confirm that, because that looks kind of real, but I think someone could fake it.
But who will build the roads?
Domino's Pizza.
Well, no, don't you know where we're going? We don't need roads.
And by the way, I abandoned that transgender article on CNN because I just can't. I can't even. Where we're going, we don't need eyes on that article.
Well, mind you, I suppose when it comes to Chicago, they're going to need solid floors so that the blood doesn't spill too far when you get shot by someone in a state where there's no fucking guns.
Yeah, they got rid of all the guns so that everybody could get shot all the time.
Actually, I'm going to say this because I don't think anyone mentioned it. Did any of you guys see the Bruce Willis Death Wish film? Because I actually watched it and I can see why so many fucking liberals hated it. It was a brilliant fucking Second Amendment film.
Well, the original was that way too. I have not seen the Bruce Willis one. It's one of those things I've been meaning to, but
it's worth it.
Same medicine.
Well, the first film isn't, I wouldn't say pro Second Amendment, it just seems pro common sense. It's like, remember, the guy starts off with just beating people with wasn't it like a sock full of coins or something? It's not even fucking guns at that start. But with the new, is it the Eli Roth one, which I'll give credit where credit's due. I don't usually like Eli Roth. I think he's fucking, Hostile films were shit.
Oh,
this film
terrible.
he actually did was, I'd say perfectly made for what it was. It was a perfect B movie, just action film, and Bruce Willis wasn't even he wasn't phoned in. He actually did a surprisingly fucking competent job.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see it. And Bruce Willis is fantastic.
Yeah,
he really is.
He does it perfectly. Hank from Breaking Bad, he does his job. Because here's the thing, I'll say this, I'm going to spoil it because it's a fucking Death Wish remake. Who cares? If anyone's seen the original, it's basically they figure out that Charles Bronson is the guy, and they say, "Get out of town." In this film, Hank finds out it's Bruce Willis, and he says, "Do you know what? I don't care." He says, "You know, as long as you don't fucking do it anymore, I don't care." It's just brilliant.
Well, we covered some retard sex. Are y'all up for another porn star interview?
Oh, is this gonna be a regular feature now?
I guess YouTube keeps suggesting them to me. Now this one, I'm not going to top I will probably never top Harmony, California. That was top shelf retard sex. But this one got suggested to me, and I went a little bit in, and no pun intended. And this chick was pretty dead in the eyes, and I thought, okay, let's save this for Saturday. So Luke, go about 15 seconds in, please. 15 seconds in. Okay, there we go. A Bella Danger. Shame on you if you know who she is.
Her daddy issues she's got.
I'm sitting here with a Bella Danger, 10 years old. You're a speeder girl. And you were just telling me how you got into the business.
Yes, I was.
Tell me again.
Well, I had just finished my spring semester as an international studies major, and I met this guy who shot porn, and I was like really cool with it, and we were dating. And after a couple of months, he was like, "Hey, why don't you do a scene with me?" And I was like really appalled, because I thought that, you know, he like appreciated the fact that I was okay with what he did, and I never wanted to like really be a part of it. So it was like kind of bewildering why he would want to put me out there like that. But I finally agreed, and the first time I did it, I really liked it a lot. I kind of felt disgusted with myself.
What did you like about it, the performance?
All right, Luke, stop for a sec. It's absolutely adorable that she doesn't realize she was being groomed. Like, that is hilarious. Like, she doesn't, like, this is as far as I got. And that was like, really, sweetie, you didn't realize what was going on there. You still don't realize what happened there. And I like how she's all of a sudden like there's bits of what's left of her soul that keeps that popped up there, I guess. And it was like, you know, I felt really disgusted with myself, but then she like quickly moves on. I think I got like a 130 into this. So keep going, Luke.
The fact that I could like be really open about my sexuality and how much I enjoy it and not feel bad about it, like if it was a bad thing to be like slutty or something. This was fun.
So you've been in the business how long?
Like 5 or 6 months.
And you're Ukrainian.
Yeah, from Kiev. Both of my parents are from Kiev.
Oh,
I don't believe that.
Can you pause it? Because I've got a point. This is really good enough. He says sexuality for sucking dick. Sucking dick isn't a sexuality. You're just a promiscuous little bitch. See, any time when any of these people say, yeah, this is my sexuality, you need to respect it. It's like, no, it's not. You're using fancy words to basically sort of give people a turnaround and say, oh, no, you can't criticize me. This is like my objective real life. You can't judge me. No, it's like you're just sucking dick. There's nothing objective about you. You're just a cocksucker.
Also, she's
Why
not
do people
Ukrainian.
need to be open about their sexuality. Why can't you keep that, you know, in the bedroom where it belongs?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be open about your sexuality. All right, you're supposed to.
That's the thing. It's not even sexuality. She just sucks dick. There's nothing. It's sexual, but it's not her sexuality. She's okay. So she's probably hetero or bi, but it's besides the point. It's like when someone says, "I'm objective," and it's like she just goes on to suck dick. It's like, yeah, this is really objective.
Okay, so am I the only one that thinks she constantly sounds like she's gonna cry?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I like to add that she's lying about being Ukrainian. Well, she may her parents may be from there, but I'm certain she is. They're from the Pale Settlement. Some of her relatives have got barcode tattoos.
I'll agree.
You get my drift?
Davis messaging me. He wants to hop in.
She's Jewish. She's Jewish. She's not.
We got the joke.
You know what? I'll agree with Chris. She does look like she sounds like she's going to cry. I mean, when I show cable ties to most women, she gives the sort of same sort of look.
Okay, keep going, Luke.
Well, here's the trad Catholic.
Tell me, what is the... Have you fulfilled all your fantasies
No.
in front of the camera?
No.
Okay, so tell us a fantasy. Your deep, darkest, dirtiest, nastiest fantasy that you would like to perform on camera if you could.
Missionary.
Well, I think it's that like nasty or like weird, I guess. I really want to get gangbanged. Really bad. Like, you guys.
Like that.
Yeah.
What do you expect to kind of feel or go through? When
Look at how sad she gets. Wait, look, back it up like a second there. Look, there's like, oh man, when he's like saying like, what do you expect to feel or go through? Look at how like sad she gets. Look at it. Look at pause right there. Like a second back. Go back. Can you go back?
That's
a second?
perfect.
Oh my God! Look at it! Look at that!
You can see like a nuclear bomb going off in her brain.
Like, oh man!
Steam's gonna start coming out of her ears.
So a couple of weeks ago, just for those of you maybe you hadn't caught this the show in a couple weeks. A couple of weeks ago, I get suggested an interview with Danny Daniels, a porn star. I don't know why YouTube suggested it to me. And in fact, the comments were full of people saying, why did this get suggested to me? I think it's one of those, Spider-Man Elsa things where YouTube is just kind of shadily pushing it. But when I clicked on that, then all of a sudden, since then, I've had porn star interviews suggested out the ass on YouTube. And it's sort of become like, they're very morbidly fascinating. Obviously, I had the Harmony, California one last week, and I don't expect, God willing, we'll never top that one. But I find it morbidly fascinating. And this one in particular caught my attention because there's such a sorrow in this girl's voice and her face.
Wait, can I say that wasn't an interview
like
last week?
And when I saw this just a second ago, I was like, yeah, holy shit, look at her.
Yeah, Forney, you and I were talking about this the other day, how sinners congregate into their mafias. And so this girl was approached and said, and there's parts of her that are misaligned, parts of her she's ashamed of, and probably rightly so. And the porn producer says to her, come and sin with us and you shall not be judged. You shall not be judged in the company of sinners.
All right, Luke, keep going. Let's see what else we get. Is she going to actually cry?
I was going to say, you didn't give an interview last week. That was an obituary of a quote-unquote husband's fucking death.
That was something special. I don't expect to top the Harmony, California one. And I pray to God we don't top the Harmony, California one.
You're going to.
That sounds like a challenge.
Unless we interview her husband. I don't know how we can get more sad than that.
Well,
although you know what? No, Luke, don't go back to it. No.
Wait, can you interview Bob Chipman's left hand?
Well, you know what just dawned on me? They film cuckold porn, right? So there has to be guys whose job it is to be the cucks in those porns. Now, there's the interview that might top it.
Oh, don't encourage Luke. He's going to find him.
I wouldn't even play a cuckold in a movie. Like a non-pornographic movie. I wouldn't even do that because that's just too dark and ugly for me.
Too late.
No, Luke,
God,
please.
All right, let's keep going with Bella.
Just carry on.
I want to see if she actually cries.
But don't worry, it's not safe for work.
Well, I meant an interview. Don't actually bring us cuckold porn, Luke.
I'm kind of like a greedy person, so it's going to be really enjoyable for me to have all those men just for me and to have them all try and please me the most. It's not about them. Like they're all...
Stop it, sweetie. That's not what a gangbang is. A gangbang is a bunch of men using you as a toy.
Federation was a mistake.
A bunch of men lined up in a warehouse wearing nothing but socks and shoes, jerking their dick so they stay hard during the 20-minute lineup until they get to you, looking at the guy's hairy ass in front of them and trying to create erotic thoughts, keep their dick hard so they can come on your face. That's what a gangbang is.
Davis, that was extremely specific. I'm not going to ask.
That used to be a porn star who was blogging under the Rudius Media Network, and I read a lot of his stuff.
Well, first of all, Davis is Italian. Second of all, there wasn't any winners. There's just survivors.
Okay, Luke, keep going.
And do you come clitorally or vaginally?
Clitorally, for sure.
Like a lesbian.
Of course, I need some vaginal penetration, but there needs to be some stimulation going on my clitoris for me to come.
Now, had you tried anal sex before you got in front of the camera?
No, I lost my anal virginity on camera for my first anal scene, but I prepped a lot for it. For 2 months, I was stretching my asshole like every month.
What were you doing?
I was using an inflatable butt plug. Which is big.
Tom is never going to have a video or television.
Tom, leave while you still got some influence.
Pastor Tom just once again regretting coming on.
I just want to talk about Nintendo.
He's like, I thought we were going to talk about Smash Brothers.
I can just imagine her kid running into the kid of the tranny mom and getting into a fight about who had it worse.
She's having kids?
Oh, she will eventually.
By the way, I looked it up. And I was right. She is in fact Jewish.
How old is she?
She is 22.
Really? What is that, 22 in dog years? Holy fuck, she's not...
She's 19 in this interview, she said.
This is the... You know, it's like the people that think that Jews are just preying upon whites. And no, they prey upon their own people as well.
All right, Luke, keep going.
With a Hitachi, like on your clit, you just pump it, and then it gets really, 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 really big. And you push it out, and when you're pushing it out, it like stretches over like the balloon. So then it got to a point that I couldn't masturbate without something in my butt.
Luke, that's got to be on the soundboard.
Yeah, that's a new one. Take a shot when she smiles and just sort of gives a smile to herself that, yeah, I want to kill myself.
By the way,
can she kill herself without something in her butt?
All right, Luke, when you're done with this, I found something that you might want to throw up. You were asking for an interview with a cuckold
Pretty
slash...
sure everybody wants to throw up.
A cuckold slash submissive. Well, the Bechtloff readership has delivered.
Is this a Dan Harmon interview, Forney?
No, it's not. It was sent to me by Ian McDowell, and it says here, interview of an actual cuckold slash submissive, slave Fluffy.
Fluffy?
Fuck?
No. No, don't play yet. Can I ask?
Let's go back to Abella. We got
Finish Bella. And then we'll do that.
You know, she's not a bad looking girl either. It's kind of a shame. Like, I mean, she's a pretty girl, and
she's got those Qatar milkers.
My God, you could see like the little bits of the soul in her, just like crying.
It depends. Anal orgasms are my favorite, but I can't say it is my favorite because not every guy likes anal sex. So I could have amazing like anal with this guy, but if this guy doesn't like it that much, then it won't be as fun.
Right.
Yeah.
What about your favorite part of sex? Is it getting head? Is it getting fucked?
No, I'd say it's connect.
Wait,
why is this YouTube appropriate? Why is this YouTube appropriate?
Is this monetized?
It's like if I make a video of shitting on Muslims, I'm gonna get swatted, and this bitch can do this.
I'm not allowed to call out what the fuck's his name? Mike Enoch on an actual lie, or I'm a bully. But we could talk about stretching an asshole to the size of a baseball.
This This is fantastic. Luke, keep going on.
Connecting with someone in a really intimate way, like for those minutes.
What's intimate about it? How can anything with you be intimate? Think about what she just shared, and then she has the nerve to say intimate.
We gotta go back a minute because I missed her there. Because
Luke.
wait.
She's calling using as a dildo intimacy.
Okay, all right, let's go. I gotta hear her line of reasoning here.
Intimate way, like for those minutes, you just belong to that other person. You know, like your sole purpose is to just make that other person feel good and to make you.
Okay, all right.
And the other people watching.
Stop for no. She just described what actual sex in an actual loving relationship, ideally a marriage, is actually supposed to be. That's not what you do, sweetie. You do that no more than Chris Evans is actually Captain America. You perform.
Yeah, intimate's a stretch.
A stretch?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
she's used to
That word is more stretched than the ladies' privates.
I know. It's almost as
Pastor Tom
stretch as
from
the
the top
fact that-
rope.
This is modern relationships where you are using you are playing a role. You are playing Captain America for an hour and a half. You're playing I love you, and then after the deed is done, you go back to being strangers. It's all vicarious. It's all simulation.
Just like
Davis
the
is
people
right.
watching it.
Nothing is real. It's about as real as the 15 million dead Jorans.
Actually seeing somebody and willing you love at them, that it can be terrifying because that's bigger than you. This is safe and controlled and meaningless. It's as exciting as a horror video game where you know that you're safe.
Well, it's exploited material. That's what she is. I mean, I don't know how popular her porn is, but it's probably mass-produced and it's probably just shoved out.
Right. She's not there for herself. She's not there for that person. She's there for the people watching and for the producers. That's who she's there for.
Somebody in the chat just said she's playing Captain Uranus.
I mean, she's just lying to herself.
Yeah, Star Trek.
If you want to see the
Space
bit of her
Black Man.
soul, that's the bit of her soul. She's lying to herself because she does recognize. She wants to make what is, profane. She's trying to make it special some way.
She's trying to act like this, like she's being paid to make love. No, sweetie, you're being paid to fuck.
Imagine a Jew trying to turn profane into holiness. I never thought I'd see the day.
All right, Luke, let's keep going. We got to get to Captain Fluffy or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So for you, that's important. Intimacy, feeling a connection with
Mm-hmm. And not just like I love.
No, don't orgasm, Davis. Just keep going.
Yeah, damn it, Davis. Mute your mic if you're gonna nut.
Not just like I love pleasing myself, but I love like making another person come. Like I get off of that on that.
Now, if you work with somebody on camera that you didn't feel you had a connection, would you work with them again? Or would you try again, see maybe it was an off day?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I would definitely try again because I can't just be like, oh, I don't want to work with that person, especially with Spiegler. So I would definitely try to, fix whatever it is that didn't work the first time.
Not
Now
that
you
you
can
ever
orgasm.
do that for a husband or a boyfriend. If the boyfriend does something to displease her, she is not going to be submissive and quiet and patient. No, he's out the fucking door. But if Mr. Pornstar has like a smelly dick, she'll still give him a second chance.
Wait, Davis, you sound too reasonable. Can you stop being too reasonable?
Modern.
She's broken. She can't. This is something that's, I mean, I hate to shill it too much, but the whole idea of sex before marriage, the whole how many sexual partners you have, it does fucking break you. I mean, you can talk on one side with the amount of women with the 1,000 cocks there, and then, to be fair, you can also talk with the sort of Rouge types who've had so much pussy. There's sort of, there's their own thing where it comes to sort of how do you relate with women, how do you perceive them. She is on the opposite end. She can't perceive men other than just sex. Whereas, a normal woman who maybe she's been dicked a few times, that's fair enough in modern society, but this sort of woman, she'll never be able to relate.
Like I said, she's just her voice is in a perpetual state of she sounds like she's about to cry.
Yeah.
She kind of reminds me of Belle Knox.
Do you know what? She looks like that post-op. Who's that fucking pre-op tranny? You know the fucking one they've tried to shield recently, the really fucking young one. Let me
I
find her
like
name.
that. I don't know. Like I like
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
What a crazy world where you say, wait, the tranny they're trying to push. Oh, which one is my response?
Aisha, do you? The little kid?
Yeah, the little kid, the little brown tanned one. You know the one I'm talking about, Davis.
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah, that one. She's got that sort of brown look.
He got nuked.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Captain Fluffy.
Yeah, let's have a look at Fluffy.
By request of the viewership.
Wait.
We now go.
Wait, can we do a little thought experiment between all of the people here?
Oh, it's on the Dog Fart Network, just like
I was
ours.
gonna say, yeah, the Dog Fart Network. They're the gift that keeps on
All
giving.
right, before Luke starts, let's all give one word that sums up what we think this entire video will be, and I'm going to say cuckold. let's all give just. That's the basic bitch one. What do we all think?
Can I use two words? Can I use two words and think Jesus wept?
Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Sawyer.
All right, let's check out Captain Soy Boy over here.
Dan Harmon approves.
Dude, you have an unusual stage name in a good way. What is it?
Slave Fluffy.
How'd you get that name?
Well, Fluffy came to me when I was working for a vendor fair during the holidays for a kinky nonprofit group. And
you say a kinky nonprofit group.
He did it for free. He did it for free.
So he worked for the Catholic Church then.
Oh well.
I'm sorry, Davis. I had to.
Those are dead lights in his eyes. This man's demonically possessed.
Demonically oppressed.
We are Fluffy.
This is what I see every time I go to the mall. Nothing but this walking around. Look at that. God, look at the look at the idle malevolence in him.
Keep going.
You're stuck.
And Slave Fluffy is because you're into what kind of lifestyle?
I'm submissive.
And this isn't just something where you're only submissive during when the camera's rolling. This is something you do in your real life.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that.
I actually have a dom who is based out of New Jersey that I met in the New York City scene. That we became really good friends, and next thing you know, about a year after we met, we decided to take a run for it. Now she's been my dom for almost a year.
Do you notice how bent his face is? Look at how bent it is.
It's slanted to the left. It's almost like, yeah, I want to put a gun in my mouth, but New York doesn't allow guns.
I'm pretty sure they're in LA.
You know, I'm pretty sure if Trump shot this guy, we still would have elected him.
I think he would have won a couple more states. Oh, let's keep going.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I didn't know NC Pop joined.
Oh my gosh. I'll never be able to see. Oh god, that's funny.
Do you know what, Luke? You're going to heaven, but you're still a cunt.
He's so fluffy.
This is something that this isn't something that you just got into. You've always kind of been into it. Like you're either a dom or you're not, which what I'm getting at. Is that true?
I mean, there's some people that are switchy. I mean, I'm more on the submissive side, and this is something I've been into. I mean, I've been interested since I was a teenager.
Right. But it's not something. What I meant, I explained it wrong. What I meant was, you can't really learn to be a sub. You're either a sub, or you can either do it or you can't. You're kind of like born into it, I want to say.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I'm sure people have tried to learn how to do it, but it's one of those things you're born
This
into.
is rationalization. He is weak for whatever reason. He was raised effeminate, and now he's saying, "Oh, I was born this way. It was always there. You can't learn." Yes, you can. You can train it. They do it in prison all the goddamn time. They rape the shit out of some punk kid, and he turns into a faggot submissive at the end of it. You're a faggot submissive because you are morally weak, period. And you didn't want to put forth the effort to become a man.
$10 says that he has a fat mother who raped him.
I'm not taking that bet.
Me and Shoeonhead should go bowling.
He does look a little like Armored Skeptic.
Or not.
Slightly more alpha.
Where's the semen on the lips?
Oh, I'm sure that's coming later. No pun intended. Luke, go ahead.
But
Not anything.
So, the sub-dom relationships you've had before, take us through that. Like, you actually go out. Is it when you go out in public? Are you sub in public, or is it just behind closed doors?
I mean, it is when we're together. It is kind of a 24/7 in a way, just not to the extreme that would be behind closed doors. Like, obviously, if I'm at her house, staying at her house when I'm in town, I'll drive her around. I'll go out and run errands for her. I'll straighten up around her house. But when we're out in public, we go to movies. We do normal human,
normal human things.
It's his flat head that makes it
God,
really bad.
5,000.
You know what's sad though is that in the way that he's describing, he just sounds like most sitcom husbands.
Do you know what? No, I'll say this right now. I could measure Shoeonhead's chest with his forehead. It's just that flat.
Are we sure this guy's human?
We haven't even gotten him describing the cock part of the relationship.
It's only 2 minutes and 20.
Zuckerberg's brother.
Zuckerberg's brother.
Look, how many more hours have you got, Bechtloff? Because me and Arini and Matt are going to be really ruining this stream for this.
He looks like a retarded cone head without the cone.
Oh, jeez. He looks like a current cast of Saturday Night Live.
He looks like I jacked off and the fucking tissue paper came alive and became a fucking cock.
He looks like Dylan Roof with the testosterone sucked out.
Legalize Trenbolone now.
Yeah, did this guy shoot up a school?
Fist ye! Robots don't say ye! Relax, mammal. My robotic software shall meet your calculatory needs.
Oh, jeez.
What is the meaning of this symbol?
That's a plus sign, you pointy head loony!
He doesn't respect Cardassia.
Oh, Luke, keep going.
There is a little, I'm always on the Dom sub thing. So, like, she's, she asked me to do something, I'm going to do it for her.
It's not like she's walking you on.
I love the, what is it, the way that they shorten the words, sub Dom, because you don't want to actually say submissive or dominant.
There's like a meme floating around where it's like, it's one of those things where it's like people texting each other, and the one person says, "This is random, but Dom or sub," and the person responds like, "I guess I prefer Domino's over Subway, but I don't know why you're." I don't know why you.
No choice. It's like, yeah, eat more fucking Subway sandwiches. Why?
This guy's
he also abandoned the actual meaning of dominant and submissive. Submissive does not mean this pathetic creature, and dominant doesn't mean acting like a bully.
No, he's not submissive. He's just empty.
Yeah, it's because the strap-on was pulled out half an hour ago.
There's another meme too where it's like Subway, and it shows the girl making the sandwich, and it's like, "Can I get anything else for you, sir?" And it's like another one where it's like a dominatrix, and they put a Subway hat on it, goes Domway, and it's like, "Eat that sandwich, you sniveling worm."
It's bizarro complementarianism.
Yeah, it's the satanic reversal.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. Can you really call the girl a dom if she then has to go get fucking Chad to fuck her like a bitch?
Yeah, it's like
it's like you're both apparently sub to Tyrone.
Luke's goal in the afterlife will be to go to hell and try and patiently explain to the people why they're there, and he'll enjoy it.
That's what we call it. Luke's gonna be the cartographer of hell. He just maps everything. Like, I know, Luke, you were the cleanest out of us, but you've got the dirtiest job.
Well, they're going to be listing out the sins of people, and Luke's going to be throwing out the screenshots from the life.
God is going to give him a free tuition to an AutoCAD course to properly map hell.
Tom's just going to be shouting in the background, I just went to play Smash.
Poor Pastor Tom. He's like, I just wanted to talk about Smash Brothers.
Well, I know Luke, or I mean, not Luke, Bechtloff's like, hey, I want to talk about E3. Can you come on? Oh, yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about DS9 in about half an hour when we finished this 2-minute video.
Oh, Lordy.
Let's see if we can finish it.
There, the DS relationship is still there. It's just not as exposed as it would be behind closed doors.
Is there intimacy in a sub-dom relationship, or is it strictly not, like, kind of hands-off?
I mean, it's more hands-off for me, but like, she's cuckolded me before.
Mhm.
She's had me eat her out after she's done fucking another guy.
Oh, gosh.
His face is mapped with non-Euclidean geometry.
Oh my god, it's only been 30 seconds.
His soul can't be mapped with non-Euclidean geometry. In fact, his soul is undermining Gödel's theorem.
Oh my god.
I used to think cucks must just be guys who are like bisexual and they don't want to admit it. So they want to.
No, that would be
But
better.
now it's just you just hate yourself, don't you? You just fucking hate yourself.
He likes being profane. Look at that little smirk he has right now. He loves the profane.
Did any of you guys watch the show Mindhunters? There's the idea of people like to see the destruction of themselves. That's what cuckolds are.
Oh yeah, it's the heterosexual version of bug chasing.
Well, no, because I disagree. Actually, do you know what bug chasing is? Bug chasing is the idea of they want to breed, but they can't breed with only actual human beings, so they've got to do it with diseases.
You gotta breed the viral load.
Yeah, they've got to breed viral loads, so they're not destroying; they're creating fucking disease.
So
Whereas-
you're thinking that you're taking this is an interesting hot take from British James here. You're taking a position that on a purely psychological level, the cuckold hates himself more than the bug chaser.
Yeah, because
I can't dispute that. Your logic is flawless.
a cuckold wants to destroy himself. A bug chaser has to create something to be meaningful. Therefore, he creates AIDS.
The suicide wants to destroy the universe, but all they can do is destroy themselves and dump all their bad karma on as many people as possible. Okay, the cuckold suicides 1,000 times in his life. Each time he gets cuckolded, that's a suicide, and he's dumping that bad karma everywhere around him. Look at that smirk.
I just wanted to discuss DS9.
All right.
I still agree.
We're only
2
halfway.
minutes. That's all we got.
Yeah, she's done that. So there is intimacy, but it's different between her different slaves.
So wait, when she's having sex with this guy, she doesn't take a pop shot to the face or anywhere. She makes it. All right.
She makes him finish off in the bathroom, and that's usually how it goes.
Why do you think that is? It's kind of.
Stop.
Oh, God.
This
stop
happened
it.
during the
Don't-
Harmony thing. This happened during the Harmony thing. And I think it's the same guy because it's the same company and his voice sounds the same. Where he's just like, I don't, why do you think that is? And then in the last one, he's like, I don't get it. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like this guy is like, really, nigga?
Yeah, is this like the curious cameraman? Is he like alt-right? He's trying to figure out why these people are such faggots.
Yeah, he doesn't even work there. He's just some guy that wandered in to ask him questions.
Really, nigga?
I just wanted to shoot.
That expression on his face is perfect.
Oh, jeez. I'll keep going.
The rictus
An hour and a half. Luke, please don't stop. I mean, a minute and a half.
Yeah, zoom in on his face.
Keep going. Push forward.
Deny him.
Pastor Tom, like, let's just get through this.
You know, do it around the face or anything like that. All right. Do you have any tips, advice for guys wanting to be a cuckold?
Suicide.
Don't you dare stop.
Pastor Tom just broke out laughing.
That's the advice.
Luke, don't you dare stop.
I just thought about your comment to the Huffington Post.
No, look at the shot of his face now. It's almost like.
Oh my God! It's almost like he's just.
I'm in front of a firing squad.
Look at him! Look at him! It's like the bit of the soul just popped up. Like, no, my advice is run. Don't be like me.
Please.
Don't do it.
Have a normal sex life.
People, I mean, it'd be amazing how quickly things can blow up after you actually go out and
yeah, blow up, explode over your friend's face.
Easiest thing to do.
Has there been an instance where she asked you to get cuckolded where you said, well, this scenario is just a little too out for me, I gotta go?
No.
No.
I mean,
Of course not.
it just happens.
Right.
You'd be sitting in the room and it just happens. Just
Right.
out of nowhere.
So if you're dating a dom right now, let's say you were, she brings a guy home to have sex with, you're totally cool with it because you know your place.
It's a poly relationship. I mean, that's one of those things that once you start getting into the lifestyle more, poly becomes more of a kind of a necessity. Then
It implies you're getting laid.
You afforded that same opportunity. Like if you want to bring a girl home to bang in front of her.
Half a minute, please.
Probably not in front of her,
Right.
but I can definitely go out and have sex with other girls.
Okay.
I would just have to ask for
Yeah,
permission.
in theory.
Oh, has there been a time when she said no?
No.
But the thought of asking
I
permission.
mean, I've asked her permission to jerk off, and she's told me no.
She's told you no? Oh my God. All right, Slave Fluffy, you are one of a kind, dude. You're great to have on set. We got this for Dog Fart. Let's do this.
Matt Forney with a round of applause there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the face of your new senator.
And oh, Ian McDowell, he sent me another video. Porn star Leia Falcon, queen of the cuckold, owner of It. I think we should save that for next week.
Yeah, there's only so much of this you could take in a week. What else do?
Look at that rictus of a grin. And yeah, hey, Bombadil noticed it too. Seriously, go to the mall sometime. Usually you go to the mall, you're just going to go buy something and get the fuck out because it's so unpleasant. Just go to the mall, grab a coffee, walk around and look at people for half an hour. This guy is everywhere. I don't know what the hell it is about malls, but the demons absolutely congregate there.
Oh, jeez. So, I guess in the news, let's talk about actual news for a moment. There's anybody got any thoughts on, peace in our time with North Korea? I mean, personally, the most important thing has been watching the left talk about how we should have war with North Korea now.
Probably not the best phrase to use, but I'm loving it.
I was being facetious, but yes.
Yeah, first they said that Trump was going to cause nuclear war by what he was doing with Korea. And now they're saying that he wasn't tough enough on them. And he should have fought more and provoked them into a war.
Oh, for God's sake. Anyone who thought that, Kim Jong-un would be a strong leader and withstand Trump and the Chinese was absolutely. I mean, look at that guy. Look at that fat fuck. Kim Jong-un, it always amazes me just how ridiculous that guy looks, okay? You can see the obvious decline in the generations going down. Kim Il-sung was a hard man who grew up in hard times under Japanese occupation, led his forces to victory in the Korean War. Kim Jong-il was kind of a hardish man because he grew up in those hard times as well. Kim Jong-un, he looks like fucking Elliot Rodger.
It looks like he ate Elliot Rodger.
Yeah, he's got no negotiating experience. He was handed his position on a silver platter. So when he came across people like Trump and the Chinese who were willing to turn the screws on him, no wonder he folded. He just wants his porn and his video games.
It's been really funny, though, watching neocons flip out about, we shouldn't have peace. And it really is amazing how many of these, you talk about demon-possessed, just won a war. Just
Ben Shapiro's Spurge out has been absolutely amazing.
Again,
it's like, this is literally Hitler.
Joe Scarborough was all like, because at the peace talks, they flew the American flag and they flew the North Korean flag because you were having a summit between two nations. That's what you do. And Joe Scarborough is freaking out like, how dare the American flag be next to the North Korean flag? It's like you fucking care, Scarborough. Like you fucking care, you disingenuous fuck.
You know,
and besides, that's how a summit between two nations goes.
Menkes Moldbug pointed out 5 or 10 years ago that if you want North Korea to stop torturing its citizens, either invade them and take it over or assure them of their strength, right?
Yeah.
And this is what Trump did. He's like, listen, we got to sort a few things out, but we're not going to invade you. Yeah. We don't want to invade you. We'd like to have a friendly relationship. And so this is how, now that he is secure, he's feeling far more secure in his position, he will be able to be more benevolent.
Trump is coming at them from a place of strength, unlike saying Obama, but also from a place of, look, we don't want to fuck with you. You know, we want to be buddies with everybody.
I'm going to show this again because Scott Adams has still had this right. Understand the Asian mentality. They always come from a position where they want to be seen as strong. You don't shit on Asians if you want them to fucking respect you or to make an agreement. Trump has respected them.
Yeah,
Trump has done it.
I mean, Trump, and it's because Trump's a businessman and he's dealt with China and Japan before. You know, he's dealt with South Korea at least, no doubt. He knows how you deal with them.
Yeah, so he's basically done these agreements happened on June 12th, my birthday, which was kind of funny because I'm thinking to myself, all this World War II happening on my birthday, plus a lot of dead gay people because of that whole Orlando thing. It's like, can my birthday get any better? Oh, and Frank's birthday, even better. But on a joke note, the Korean peace talks are, as I say, they've basically gone exactly how you've expected. Because as much as here's the thing, and I'll say this when it comes to U.S. foreign policy, it's very schizophrenic. You'll have to admit this. You look at things like Bush's, and then you look at, let's say, Clinton and Obama. As much as people want to say that, for example, the U.S. basically brown nose and basically support Israel. You look at Obama and the UN; they don't support Israel. Whereas you look at, say, the Bushes, it's very much pro-Israel. Things can change. As I say, the parties aren't, as much as people want to say it's very divided, it is divided, but that's where it puts itself. It's what's the best way of explaining it? You can have, let's say, a pro-Israel party, but you can also have that thing change within 4 years, depending on how the parties go. It's, as I say, America ultimately decides how things are going to go, and say with the US, you assume that it was going to be very pro-war because you look at Obama, he tried to be very pro sort of peacekeeping, which was actually fucking nonsense. He fucking wasn't. He probably caused ISIS, which everyone fucking admits now. He was essentially the person who actually caused more problems than fucking Bush Jr., which is an impressive achievement unto itself. The Russians had to fix that.
My bad. I'm just laughing because I had Luke put up the intellectual dark web meme.
Yeah, I'm trying to read that.
Ben Shapiro was losing his mind over the North Korea peace summit.
Oh,
here you
yeah,
have him as, I love it here. He's as base neocon, and they drew him so short.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's
I
the
love
thing.
to stuff that little family into a locker.
He actually compared him to Hitler. He actually compared Kim. Do you know what? Kim Jong. Here's the thing. You're trying to. This is where it comes to like just basic charisma, and you've got to understand the general game. You're trying to appease someone. You're trying to get a good deal. You're trying to fix things. You're not going to shit on a fucking Korean or an Asian and say, yeah, you're a cunt, and then say, yeah, you should do what I want. No, you actually have to appease them. That's how they fucking operate. That's what a lot of these people don't get. That's what I'm saying. What's it called? What's the term he called? Oh, God. I'm trying to forget. But what I'm saying is, you don't shit on someone. You actually try and, like, woo them. That's what...
Yeah. Not to be autistic, but how are mainstream intellectuals that are on YouTube and work for universities and the Republican Party, how is that the intellectual dark web? That's about as mainstream as you can get.
No. Yeah, they're practically liberal.
Well, it's a made-up term they use to try to make these people look edgier.
I'm just being autistic. It's just like the
And they're welcome to call themselves that because intellectual dark web is the cringiest shit that ever was.
Yeah.
God, he looks like he's 16 years old.
No, do you know what? He looked like he was getting his fucking head flushed down the toilet 2 years ago.
If I ever meet him, it's going to be more recently than 2 years.
It's
I'm going to get another strike for bullying.
Are you threatening me? It's like, dude, I'm a lot scarier than that tranny that threatened you.
Yeah, fucking English SWAT team is going to come through my door right now for bullying Ben Shapiro.
Here's the thing. If I flushed your head in the toilet, the liberals would support it.
The president, we are the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the freest country in the history of the world. And putting the flag of the freest country in the history of the world next to the flag of an evil dictatorship and then praising that guy. We didn't have to do this. The guy's a tin pot dictator, and treating him as though he's an equal world leader seems to me counterproductive. But
how the fuck do you think a summit between two nations goes, you little twerp?
Yeah, what do you think he's trying to do? Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm going to shield Scott Adams because he's put this perfectly when it came to the summit. You're not trying to put things perfect, like put them in their place. You're trying to get talks started. Remember, Trump has ended the Korean War. Let's not fucking forget that. The Korean War was not fucking ended until just recently. Right?
I could be wrong. Trump's proved me wrong before.
Yeah, you're certainly fucking wrong.
Jeez, I hate that little fucker.
Here's the thing: he's right in a lot of things.
He's
but
got
he's
got as much evil in his eyes as fucking Captain Fluffy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's slave fluffy, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Understand
if you pay attention.
A lot of people like him try to argue that the forms that a lot of the documents that Trump signed and Kim Jong-un signed were ambiguous. It's like, yeah, this is not the end of it. This is the start. It's going to take at least a decade. This is beyond Trump's fucking reach because it's going to take a long time for actual North Korea to actually align itself to a position where it's actually going to be seen as a country. Because remember, North Korea is fucked. It's been fucked for a long time.
Like somebody that when if you don't like somebody and you just want to see them do wrong, you're going to find anything you can. If it was somebody else that he liked, he would completely understand all of this, everything that you're saying. But because it's Trump and he doesn't like Trump, then he's going to point this out.
There's this meme of like Trump brings about world peace, and his enemies cry that he puts soldiers out of work. And we are literally on the edges of that meme right now.
Oh, do you know what? I'll disagree with that because Shapiro's not been that completely. I think
Shapiro is about halfway there, and especially on foreign policy. Shapiro is literally crying that Trump is making the world a more peaceful place.
Yeah, it's the point he doesn't seem to get. It's okay, so you want to achieve world peace. Do you know what? You sometimes have to shake hands. You don't want to. The fact is, and this is the perfect thing Scott Adams puts it. Do you know what? You've got to look at it from Kim Jong-un's point of view. Remember, he's only a recent dictator. I mean, does anyone remember when fucking Kim Jong-il died? That was how many years ago? How many years?
6 years.
6 years. So this guy,
7 years. My bad.
7 years, but this guy has been in for 7 years, and he's still in his 20s, if I remember correctly. No, he's in his early 30s. So when he joined, he was ruling a country from his sort of mid to late 20s. This is a sort of, as someone put it quite well, he is essentially running a country. He's basically running a game where he basically had no hand in how it was running when he actually joined. Like, imagine if you got thrown into a fucking game of anything where it's like, yeah, this is how the fucking game goes. You're fucking starting from this. And I'm not giving him credits because he has done fucked up things from what I've heard. But besides the point, the amount of dodgy shit the US has done, it's not like you're not gonna forgive the US for what it's done, or let's say the English and what the fucking UK has done in certain stuff. No fucking country is innocent. So as long as you can say, yeah, bygones be bygones, we're trying to sort of make amends, you're looking at the fact that the US can completely withdraw from the sort of Korean Peninsula and say, do you know what, we're not part of that anymore. And that's what you guys have probably wanted for a lot of time. It's like, do you know what, fuck Korea, I want to do our own thing. Let's actually, stick with our own business. You guys even encouraged the Japanese to actually buy up their own fucking weapons, which is, That's only happened under Trump. You guys can leave that peninsula and say, do you know what? That's not our business. Japan can defend itself. You're even leaving the peninsula in a better state than it is because you're saying, yeah, the North Korea is not going to attack anyone.
What are the odds he's just being a contrarian?
What, Trump or Kim Jong-un?
No, the littlest chicken hawk. Like he just has to say, "Oh no, I'm smarter than everybody." He doesn't actually have any set beliefs. He's just being a little pissant contrarian.
He's being consistent. He's being consistently dumb. He's being consistent chicken shit.
Well, as Razorfist put him, he's a very fucking bad prognosticator. Don't really expect much from his predictions.
South Korea, who had attempted to smooth. It does seem like good news in the meantime.
Yeah,
I can't really talk too much trash about it.
You know, I'll give my best advice from a YouTuber, Potholer54, who puts it quite well. If someone is making predictions that you don't understand, don't shit on the predictions. Understand why they make said predictions, because there are people that are ultimately going to make sort of ideas where they may know more stuff than you do. Ben Shapiro doesn't fucking get it. Whereas you can look at what Trump says and says, you know what, we can make fucking deals. He ended the fucking Korean War. That's the longest running modern conflict, technically, if you're going to go by it.
Yeah, it was the 50 years war, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's the longest fucking war in the modern combat. And mind you, yeah, it's technically a technicality, but it still fucking stands. He's also the first president to the US president to actually have peace talks with a North Korean leader. He's the only fucking leader. But, you know, it's interesting times.
May you live in interesting times.
Yeah. Almost as interesting as them Cardassian wars, which I hear about.
And Cardassians did nothing wrong. Beijing was a savage planet, and they were just trying to industrialize the damn thing.
No, the only problem Goldicott did was not turn Bajor into a mass graveyard. 15 million? That's not enough. That's like a weekend's job.
What do you call
Goldicott's problem is he mud sharked way too much.
What do you call 50 million dead Bajorans? A good start.
Well, I'll still stand my nest. The Breen Confederacy were the bigger alphas. It's like look at the Cardassians. They say, yeah, we need to join this Dominion stuff to save ourselves from the Klingons. The fucking Breen Confederacy joins. Why the fuck not? We just want to have Earth. Enough nerds. Did we have any more gay sex or retard sex?
Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton had been elected and she was standing there? They would have been like, oh no, we're wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, because they fucking normally do.
No, I don't think we have any more retard sex.
No, I'm surprised we didn't mention. Did you guys mention the line by Trump when they're going to take the photographer and he says, "Yeah, let's get a nice clean, thin photograph."
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And Kim Jong-un, he's got that double chin sticking out.
And then they pan over to Pudgy there, and he just looks so sad.
No, it's not even that. He looks confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Brilliant. I mean, Theresa May from the UK looks like she drank from the Ron cup in The Last Crusade. But at least, you know, Kim Jong-un, he looks plump.
I love that picture of him at the G7 summit or whatever.
Oh, when he's sitting and you've got
and he's sitting and like Merkel's scolding at him, and he's just got this fucking smirk on his face, like "fuck you, bitch."
What's the thing? The Japanese and the Italian leaders are basically like, yeah, he looks cool, but of course it's going to be the Germans letting it down.
Yeah, look at him just smirking at her, like, "What you gonna do about it?"
Well, Merkel's being pushed out the door finally, so.
Her face looks like an old leather coin bag.
They might get rid of her in the next couple of months.
Do you know what?
If Germany was a sane nation, they would hang her.
No, Davis, I'll correct that. She looks like my ballsack if I drew a fucking sad face on it.
Yeah, after sitting in the sauna for half an hour.
Wow, this really is like a Renaissance painting.
Oh man. I like the Japanese leader too. Just
Do you know what? I'll say this. Regardless of politics, the Japanese leader wins it. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
he's looking at like, why were we allied with those people?
I just went to watch Gundam.
What's the name of the guy with the mustache again? Bonham?
That's the Italian Prime Minister.
Oh wait, are you kidding? I thought, Jesus. He looks like one of those British guys that's a complete freaking weirdo, but their wife's a weirdo too, and so she thinks he's alpha, and everybody just thinks they're both fucking weirdos. You're like, that's not an Italian mustache. Come on, buddy, stop. You're shaming your forefathers.
Well, Matteo Salvini's the real prime minister. This guy is just an empty suit. And thank God for that. Salvini's the guy who's turning back the migrant votes now.
You could just tell this guy has very perfunctory sex with his wife.
Are you talking about the guy behind Trump there? That's John
Yeah,
Bolton.
isn't that Bolton?
Yeah, that's John Bolton. That's not.
Oh, yeah, he's such a weird-looking guy.
I thought you were referring to the guy on the far left.
Oh, I thought it was Italian PM. He's
Hey,
got
we were talking about mustache. I'm like, nobody else there has a mustache except Merkel.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Renee, because Bolton actually was accused by his ex-wife of forcing her to go to a swingers club.
Really?
Yes, he was.
Well, when you said
swinger, guys, don't ever go to, like, listen, I've never been, okay? I've been in times.
Sure.
Don't go to a swingers club.
Yeah, sure.
They're all weird. It's like you think you're going to go to a swingers club and it's all the hot, sexy people. Okay, and some of them, actually, a lot of them will be local celebrities. But guess what? They look very terrible out of the $500 suits. All right, it's like just weird, just weird people at the swingers club. You don't.
Plus, you're gonna have Captain Fluffy watching you the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want the accurate Italian experience, it's like, hey, bada bing, bada boom, I'm walking here.
Sorry, ladies, I'm taken already.
Somebody in the chat says the Bolton fears the samurai.
Well, Bolton actually he does look confused. I mean, the Jap looks like he knows what he should do.
Yeah, I just found this. The Bolton. It comes from their divorce filings. This is corroborated allegations that Mr. Bolton's first wife, Christina Bolton, was forced to engage in group sex, have not been refuted by the State Department, despite inquiries posted by Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flint concerning the allegations. Mr. Flint has obtained information from numerous sources that Mr. Bolton participated in paid visits to Plato's Retreat, the popular swingers club that operated in New York City in the late 1970s and early 1980s.
Listen, he's sort of, like, if you run into a guy that looks like Bolton and he's an accountant, go ahead and hire him. He's probably a great accountant. You know, like whatever weird little skill set he has, he's really good at it. But if he ever invites you to a barbecue, make an excuse. Because it's some pretext for you to join his swingers club or some really weird Dungeons and Dragons game, or like you just don't want to get close to a guy like that. Like he looks like he's thinking about the sort of sounds barnyard animals makes. You know, like it's just this weird dial tone going on in his head, and like there's this big important confrontation. He's thinking about the cow goes moo.
Yeah, he knows the sort of guy who has to hide up sex crimes.
Well, the cow does go moo, though.
Tom.
What if it doesn't identify as a cow?
Well, who's the Asian guy between him and the Jap Prime Minister?
Probably just someone with, Abe. There's a whole bunch of Japanese people, probably just his aides or something.
That's probably.
I can't believe this guy hasn't been culled yet. But he's so creepy and weird, but also non-threatening that he just kind of he's like the gray man. Okay, he never gets fired.
The cow goes Shazoo.
It most certainly does not. Oh man.
Just saw that episode of Family Guy last night, and he's still dwelling on that. The cow does not go Shazoo. What the hell are those Hollywood people thinking?
Oh man. All right. Well, I've kind of run out of topics, so I'm gonna leave this up to the chat.
Wait, I got a question. Is that the gay Star Trek actor between the Japanese Prime Minister and Merkel?
That's what I was asking.
No, I don't think
Is it
that's.
him?
I don't think that's the guy.
Oh my.
Yeah, Ian McDonald just sent me
It's
something again.
decay.
Ian McDonald just sent me something again. It's not related to retard sex. This is related, so I'll make it quick. It says China is rejecting the soy. And the headline says China, in response to Trump, slaps tariffs on $34 billion in U.S. products from soybeans to cigars.
Did you know that the United States produces more soy than corn?
Yeah, we know that.
That's staggering because we produce a lot of corn.
Yeah, and neither. Listen, corn's okay. But when corn is transmogrified into every goddamn food on your grocery shelf, it's not good anymore. Yeah, the major exports of the American agriculture industry are effeminacy and cancer.
Well, even soy, as much as it's become a meme, I mean, it has to be. You have to be consuming a lot of it for it to have that effect on you. And the problem isn't that you put soy sauce on your Chinese food. It's that soy is getting shoved into everything, regardless of whether it belongs in there, much like corn syrup.
Wait, Davis, you only said one thing. Can you repeat the second thing?
Wait, what?
You only said one thing.
Oh, did I get cut off? I said like the two major exports of the American agriculture industry are effeminacy and cancer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You only said one thing.
All right, I'm gonna leave this up to the chat because Ian McDonald sent another retard sex video. So everyone in the chat, Pastor Tom's gonna just fucking bail probably. But everyone in the chat, press 1 if you want us to do this like now. Press 2 if you want to save it till next week. Everyone in the chat, go ahead. I'll give it a minute because I know there's a delay.
Press 3 for DS9.
Press 4 for Trenbolone.
Press 5 for nuclear holocaust.
What is Captain? Oh, Captain. I see.
Captain Corn is a mutant hero who can change shape at will. 1 minute he's bootleg liquor in your gas tank. The next.
These people are doing God's work.
I think freeze on. Tom, you cunt.
Pastor Tom's just hitting 3 a bunch of. I only get to vote once, Tom.
My sexy girl, none of this bootleg corn gasoline for her. Nothing but pure, beautiful 91 octane Alberta bitumen sand for her.
It looks like the ones are winning.
Yeah, we got some 5s. I don't know what 5s are.
5 is nuclear holocaust.
5 just means 3.
I'm surprised we didn't get any 1488s, but
that's a tight match between DS9 and whatever one was.
Well, Ian McDonald, go ahead and put that video in the chat again. That you had another one of these. Oh, Boogie just says, "What are we voting on?"
Brace your souls, people.
All right, so this is what is this? Pornstar Leia Falcon, Queen of the Cuckolds.
Oh God, it's such a death ideology. It's just so.
There we go, Luke. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Wait, how did you post 4 times, Pastor?
Dog fart network. Like,
what do you mean?
He hit the return key on his keyboard 4 times.
3 enter. 3 enter.
Hacker man, Pastor Tom.
Thanks for Cardassian support.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Empress, goddess, what do you like going by?
I told you.
Well, you told us on the other behind the scenes. This is for YouTube.
Well, you should. You know me long enough by now. It's Princess. Don't make me.
But see, it's like if you went on, a talk show, they don't automatically.
Of course, she's got blue hair.
Time to kill
She's doing the Harley Quinn thing.
I want to zap her ovaries with a microwave gun.
When did you start going as Princess Leia?
I mean, if you really want to go back when I was younger,
Right.
and
I bet.
Right. You always been a Star Wars geek.
Yeah.
Fast forward. Let's talk about it. What is it?
It is the slave that I have chosen to own. It is quite an honor if you are a slave, if I choose to claim you, because I won't claim a lot of them.
Luke's searching the name.
Wait. You've got a white person who says it's an honor to be a slave.
And
Black men, you're welcome to her. She's all yours, guys.
Well, she looks Irish. It makes sense.
And it's not just like a weekend gig. It's got to be 24 hours, 24/7.
This is my life. Like, I live with it. It lives on the third floor of the house that it bought me. I call it my castle. And it does my bidding. And it realizes that its life is incomplete without me and that it has to serve me in order to fulfill what it's on the earth for.
Grocery shopping. You need grocery shopping. He pays for it. He goes and gets it. I'm sorry, it.
I'd like to point something out to the audience. Not only are there the eternal fires in hell, you're also going to run into her and her slave, it. So, if the fire isn't scaring the crap out of you, go to church so you don't wind up where she's going to be.
Okay, so she likes Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn likes the Joker. How much you want to bet it's Tim Curry?
Wait, don't fuck it. Don't torment Tim Curry.
Davis. I'm pretty sure I ran into this chick outside the Umami Burger in Hollywood. So that's not much of a disincentive.
You remember when girls like this were just trashy and they were sleeping with Scout from Team Fortress 2? Eating fried chicken and sleeping with douchebags. Do you remember the good old days? Before the degeneracy started multiplying on itself.
Those halcyon days of
that was a weird update to Team Fortress 2 when you find out Scout was raised by a single mother.
Okay, Luke.
Anything I tell it to get, it will get.
Right. So when you went to preliminary period with him, like finding out how much he made, did you make it? When you found out how much it made, did you make him bring bank statements just to make sure it was on the up and up?
The thing was, it in like the first month that I met it bought me like 8 pairs of Louboutins. That's how I knew it had money.
8 pairs of Louis Vuitton roughly run.
Louboutins.
8 pairs, a couple grand.
That's like $8,000.
Okay, so 1,000.
A little over maybe.
Okay. And so he started buying you. Buying you more and more stuff. So you said, "Oh wow, it has some money."
You know what? If Luke ever has his apartment raided by police, they're going to say, "Oh my God, look at all this disgusting porn." He says, "No, that's my Bechtloff show folder."
Yes.
Then you'll be like, "My disgusting porn folder's over there."
And then when the cop looks at it, his face melts.
I think Luke could headbutt someone into the ground.
You want to do it?
Is this not the same girl? Right there. Is that not her? Like 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's the same girl.
Just completely spiraled out of control. She was just eating fried chicken and fucking douchebags like Scout. Now she's got some it that's buying her a goddamn house. It's the same fucking woman. New haircut.
Luke, what have you been doing? You're meant to be innocent.
But more importantly, it had the desire to do what I wanted and to make me happy.
Right.
I don't think she's ever been.
Food delivered. It calls and
It, like, if I want it to deliver me food, it will, like, if I'm somewhere else, like it will go and get food for me, or like I have its credit card on my Uber Eats. Pretty much anything. If I'm like, hey, go grab this, it'll go get it. If I'm like, oh, go order this online, it'll do it. If I'm like, hey, fold my fucking laundry, it's like, okay. If I'm like, hey, drink my piss, it'll drink my
That kind of came out of nowhere.
Again.
That escalated quickly.
Like, where's Waldo? One of those things does not belong.
The fuck I want.
It's a white guy.
Yes.
Okay, let's get that out of the way.
Of course.
Now, what is his demeanor throughout? What is its demeanor throughout the house? Is he mopey? Is he glad to do this stuff? When you say
so cheery,
Mhm.
like even in the morning, I'm not a morning person, but sometimes it's just like so cheery. I'm like, stop, just go get me some Starbucks.
Mhm. Which it pays for.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Right. I just want to get that clear.
But it's always happy and willing, and anytime it's in my presence, it's happy as it should be.
Right.
Because I'm wonderful and great, and I am the
Holy shit, that's him.
Well, we bring you back for dog fart.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Do you think she's changed her name since the recent Solo movie?
Starfleet was a mistake.
I drinks my piss just out of nowhere. Is it just me, or did she make all of that sound incredibly mundane and boring?
Oh yeah, it's like she's like, oh, here's my Starbucks and here's my coffee and all that stuff. It's like, yeah,
Here's the house my slave bought for me.
Oh, and drink my piss, by the way.
yeah. Here's your coffee. Okay, here's the thing of my piss.
Y'all need Jesus.
It just sounds like an intern.
Hey, aside from the piss drinking thing, that's all it is.
Well, it depends on where you work.
Like.
If she didn't say piss, it would sound like an average porn vid.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what really gets me about all of this. It's just how non-sexual it all is.
It's like it's off a conveyor belt to you, isn't it?
Yeah, this next clip is kind of off on a tangent, but just kind of connects to what we were talking about on what the girl we were.
Oh, what have you found, Luke?
Spy, you are amazing with ladies. You know, classy ones, the kind that smell good and can read and always have their glasses on, just kind of crooked.
No, I go for blind women.
Glasses.
The women I go for speak in Braille.
In Braille?
That is the interesting thing about it, no pun intended there, is how boring it all sounds. How boring she makes this sound.
You know, like Bechtloff, you've talked about before, like kind of like the sexy. You know, Luke had all those pictures up, the girls, the leather and whatnot. And there's the Dark Queen from Battletoads. There's something kind of sexy about that. Like, Mama's going to take control tonight.
You're going to give me that dick.
But this is not even sex anymore.
Well, she didn't even discuss anything sexual in there. Like, aside from, I guess,
like a
drinking the
light-
piss, maybe.
Neither did Fluffy.
Wait,
Oh, wait,
Davis.
in all fairness, I'd probably rather that than Starbucks.
Davis, it's like a lifestyle to them.
I mean, unless you believe Pastor Manning when he says that Starbucks flavors their coffee with semen, there's nothing sexual in any of that.
They still try. It's 6 foot, 126 pounds. That's bollocks.
Wow.
She ain't fucking.
With
She ain't
8-inch heels, too.
Where's all the weight?
Yeah, if
Two places.
Yeah, that's like an extra 60 pounds, and it's probably my cock.
Hey, James,
100.
you know how you make 5 pounds of fat sexy?
How?
Nipple on
You slap a nipple on it.
But
and that is the thing about it. Like, I often point to the Hellraiser movies as being these amazing metaphors, but why do people open the box? It's because all this hedonism that they've chased has become so boring. And that girl sounded so bored.
Well, it sounded like Mike.
Your sex life has devolved to the point where it's go buy me a Mountain Dew, and that's your fucking sex life. Yeah, you gotta start.
Funny enough, you said Hellraiser, and I'm talking DS9. Garrick was, funny enough, the father in Hellraiser. He actually, funny enough, I found out an interesting story. He actually had to change his fucking phone number several times because after his performance in Dirty Harry, people gave him death threats because of how realistic it was in that film.
Sights to show you.
Then you have the person who played Dax in Hellraiser 3.
That's right. 2 DS9 connections to the Hellraiser series. Who would have thought?
Just like in Seventh Heaven. He had the 2 people in 2 different Star Trek movies in Seventh Heaven.
That's right. I like the Battletoads thing with the Pepes.
Oh, that's perfect. She looked perfect.
Where did this come from? What is this?
That's the Dark Queen from Battletoads, but they're all Pepes instead of Battletoads.
It comes from a place called pixeljoint.com.
Oh, Luke, you're evil.
Areolas.
This is kind of not safe for work anymore.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also-
Luke, you got to get that off. I'm sorry. Shit.
Oh, wait, there's one black, there's one darker pink pixel. That could be a nipple.
Hey, I'm not taking no chances.
I don't know if you want to end this or not, but I'll argue. I'll die on this hill. The TNG films are abhorrent aside from First Contact.
Bullshit. First Contact sucks.
No, but I'm saying I think First Contact is the least worst out of the TNG films.
Oh, I'm not going to dispute. I wouldn't call them abhorrent, but they're not movies. In my opinion, it's like they're like extended episodes of a season 8.
That ruin things.
The TNG films are the worst double parters of a TNG series.
Well, no. I wouldn't say. Well, maybe double parters, but I mean, nothing's worse than season 1 TNG.
Yeah, that's a
I
challenge.
don't know. I mean, season 1 Enterprise.
No.
I keep forgetting
No,
Enterprise even
I'll
exists.
fight you, Tom. Don't. Let me give you an interesting journey. I watched DS9. I went through all 7 seasons in a row. And I fucking loved it. When people said that DS9 season 1 was rough, I thought, no. Do you know what? That was actually quite good.
It was.
Oh no, DS9's fine. I was talking about Enterprise.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I watched Enterprise straight afterwards, and I said, you know what? If that's rough, what the fuck is TNG? Because that's like a fucking that's like a sandpaper enema. That's a completely different story.
For enema is at least memorable, while the TNG movies are just
No, but that's what I'm saying. The TNG films are just fucking bad. The TNG series is a fucking enema, but at least the Enterprise series, like the actual fucking series, because this is what a lot of people forget about the Enterprise series. It aired 10 days after 9/11. And if you actually notice how that show changes after season 2, because here's the thing, a lot of people don't want to admit this, and I like Star Trek a lot, but you guys have to admit, when it comes to TNG and Voyager, it's like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, it takes 3 seasons and then it gets fucking good. Same with fucking Final Fantasy. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry, 20 hours into the game and it actually gets good.
Oh, I had somebody like, because I like Star Trek and they started watching TNG and they're like, dude, I watched a little bit of the TNG and it was terrible. And I'm like, oh, you watched season 1? And I was like, yeah, just start with season 3.
Yeah,
I will give you this, okay? Probably the worst Enterprise of Night and Sickbay is season 2. I thought it was season 1.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
That's the absolute worst.
DS9 is actually great season 1 and 2, and I think dips. I think season 6 and 7 are a bit fucking weird, and that's my opinion. Voyager, I can't really say much, but most people give a similar opinion and say, you know, when 7 of 9 joins, that's when Voyager gets good.
Yeah, Voyager season 4 is pretty good. 5 and 6 is pretty good. 7 with Voyager kind of gets weird. I actually like season 6 of DS9, but 7 drops the ball.
I can't countenance Voyager at all. Like, I'd rather watch the first season of TNG than watch anything.
Well, Forney's
Oh
too
no!
normie.
Come on.
Forney's too normie.
I'll take the episode of Voyager where they go infinite speed and turn into lizards.
Oh gosh, that one's
over
horrible.
anything from season 1 at TNG except the pilot and conspiracy.
Well, the thing with TNG is that you watch the first season and you know it gets better. You watch the first season of Voyager, it doesn't get better.
No, it doesn't.
Voyager blows.
It was just such a disappointment, Voyager.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Enterprise doesn't get worse. It fucking gets better. And
oh yeah, the last few seasons of Enterprise are actually pretty rock solid. I got around to watching those recently, and if only they could have kept going. If only the whole thing could have been like that.
Yeah.
Enterprise does get better. The one where they go into the alternate universe, the mirror universe, that one's I really enjoy that one because you can just tell they're having a lot of fun.
What a lot of people don't forget is the alternate universe actually has an alternate intro. So if you remember that faggy intro for Enterprise, where it's like,
the intro
been
for
a
Enterprise is so
long
bad.
road, getting from there to here. They fucking change it. They basically just have straight up violence for the two-parters. Fucking mirror universe. It's brilliant.
Well, I mean, of course, that's the only time that the characters are really interesting. I mean, you know, Enterprise, like I said, none of the characters were really all that interesting. They had some interesting plots, but not really any interesting characters.
I don't know about that. That's...
Holy shit, was that just Star Trend Balloon, The Next Generation you put up, Luke?
Wait, what happened?
Well, he just posted a picture. Luke, where's that picture you just posted?
Yeah, I didn't see it. What was it?
That, like the 7 of 9 doing nothing
that
for
one.
me, but this gets rock fucking hard.
Yeah, that's the mirror universe in TNG times.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I wish we could have had that series.
There's 2 comic book miniseries that IDW put out recently based on that Broken Mirror and then Through the Mirror, and they both were really good.
You know, you can just tell that Picard has had Troy lick the cum that dripped off his face onto the boots, off of the boots.
Yeah, it works.
Data's constantly like upgrading himself with additional weapons on his arm and shit like that.
Oh man, like seriously, man, you're not helping with my chastity right now.
Yeah, they're both great series.
Wait, is that like a whole series? They did a whole series in the Mirror Universe?
There's 2 miniseries. There's Broken Mirror, which is the first one, and it's just sort of establishing the mirror like TNG guys. And then there's Through the Mirror, in which the mirror TNG guys invade the regular universe because they're trying to steal shit. Like, because at this point in the mirror universe, the Federation is kind of in trouble. Like the Klingons and the Cardassians have teamed up and are sort of pounding them. So they're running low on supplies. So they literally launch a plan to invade the regular universe and just steal a ton of shit and ships and stuff from them.
Jeez, I'll bet Troy actually emotes in this universe.
Oh, dude, Troy is the most evil motherfucker in the world in the mirror universe. She is an what do they call an inquisitor, and she will mind rape prisoners to get information.
Yeah,
this is so much sexier than the porn people.
Arini is going to run off and get these comics, and don't borrow them afterwards because the pages will be stuck together.
No, it's like Jurassic Park. You've just got this book encased in amber.
Hang on a second. I can actually find you the Amazon listing for the trade paperback.
But the God,
You're breaking a man's nofap. You know, be gentle.
Now, I'm just seeing some good Halloween costumes for the girl and I just want an excuse to wear those fucking boots.
Actually,
those are awesome.
You mentioned Halloween. Bechtloff, did you watch the Halloween reboot trailer for the 40th anniversary, and what did you think of that?
I did not. I'm not really that big of a Halloween fan anyways, and then after after Rob Zombie's god-awful reboots of it, I've just sort of tried to forget that series exists now.
They're just totally ignoring all the other movies after one.
No, well, what they did with the new Halloween series was this. I think Danny McBride is doing it, and he's saying the only Halloween film they recognize is the first. And essentially the entire plot of the film is 40 years after he gets captured, he basically comes back to fucking get his revenge.
How's
That
that
might not be
different from
bad.
the first one?
No, I want to get a bunch
no.
of my buddies together, and we can all do this cosplay. And because we're from the Mirror Universe, we're going to go to a Star Trek convention and push all the nerds around.
What, you're going to be dressed like Troy? That's a bit gay.
Yeah.
David. What?
I'm going to round up all the chats, man, and we're going to
Oh.
ruin the Star Trek convention for all the
Dude,
nerds.
Mirror Universe Voyager fan art there looks fucking fantastic.
Well, let me give a short story because I mentioned this on one of I think it was NZ Clark's Discord, and I've said this before. I've met Cisco in real life when I was 9. This is a fun enough story.
His real name isn't Cisco.
No, I know he's not Cisco in real life. Oh, for fuck's sake,
His real
Davis.
name is the motherfucking Cisco.
No, he's Avery Brooks. Okay, I've met Avery Brooks in real life, and this is the best fucking story. So I'm like 9 years old, 10 years old, and I've only ever known TOS and TNG. And I look at this guy because they've got like a portrait of him, and it's like, oh yeah, he just looks like one of them TNG rejects. I don't know, as a fucking kid, I don't know any of that shit. So I'm going up to meet the guy, and he fucking offers his hand out to me when I'm gonna get the fucking autograph. Like, prior to that, I spilled all this sort of Coca-Cola shit on my hands, and it's all fucking sticky. And I ain't gonna. I don't have a toilet. I don't have a restroom to go to. So I say no. I don't want to do that. So A.V. Brooks just looks at me, fucking straight in the eye, and says, "I don't care about that kid. Just shake my hand." It's fucking hypnotic. I just shake my hand. And so I'm like 10 years old, I'm shaking this dude's hand. I don't know who he fucking is. And thinking back now, I'm walking back with my dad after he's got an autograph, and all I see is fucking Cisco wiping his hand on this shitty fucking thing. He's trying to get fucking Coca-Cola off his fucking hand.
Oh, Davis, you might like this. So at the end of the second Star Trek comic mini I told you about there, the Mirror Universe Barclay is so offended by what a joke his counterpart is that he's now like kidnapped his counterpart and taken his place, and that's going to be the next miniseries.
Wait, this is on. Oh my god, this is ongoing.
Yeah, they did 2 miniseries, and now they got a third one, Terror Incognito, coming out here soon.
Oh, holy shit, this is excellent.
And it's going to be Mirror Universe Barclay is now trying to be a better version of his counter. He's trying to fix his counterpart's life, like live his counterpart's life better.
Give me like a week-long pre-episode.
Basically, these miniseries would have been the best season of Star Trek of TNG they never made.
You know, if they're like, listen, apparently nobody cares about continuity or anything like that in anything being made these days. You know, so why can't we have this in TNG? You know, like Alpha Male Picard. Like, I always love Picard, but Picard on Trembolone is even more awesome.
Well, have you
You've got to make reboots with Chris Pine.
There's a scene in there where like the two Picards confront each other, and because the evil Picard's been killing people left and right as he's stealing shit, and he's like
Cicero the whole time,
and he's sitting there and he's like, you have the regular universe Picard, like you have many crimes to answer from, and the mirror Picard just looks at him and goes, I suppose from your standpoint you would think that. Like he just does it.
Say, Luke, did you get the image I just sent you? I sent you. Well, it's not really related, but
this picture here.
Yeah, this one comes from Ian McDonald, and it's a picture of Alf raping a seal.
I was going to say you can just tell that Mirror Universe Picard owns every single book by Quintus Curtius.
What the fuck is this?
Ian McDonald sent it to me, so.
A very distressed seal.
That'll soon be on the Dog Fart Network too. Oh Lordy! All right, well, I think we've run out of shit to talk about here. So I should probably.
I had one last line in regards to the politicians and all the naysayers.
The more you see of a modern politician, the more you think Guy Fawkes was merely ahead of his time.
That's hate speech.
Gonna get demonetized. All right, folks. That's about all we got for tonight. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you enjoy the show, do check out the tip jars down below, the PayPal, the Patreon, the Amazon wish list. I suppose I should check the Streamlabs one last time. And
has anyone sent any messages about infinite anal orgasms of a Bella Danger?
Infinite anal orgasm.
That is the title of a porn video of hers.
Did they mention how Cardassia did nothing wrong?
Infinite anal orgasms. That's wonderful.
Well, you'll notice you always.
I'm kind of I guess what's the term here? I didn't know there was an anal orgasm. Okay, I did not know that was a thing. Like I knew that anal sex.
I have such sites to show you.
I knew that anal sex could feel good for somebody, but I guess I understood you could orgasm while you're getting fucked in the ass, and maybe that's what it means. But I don't really understand what anal orgasm actually fucking means.
Dude, a woman can have an orgasm from deep throating in her throat.
Gon sent a $3 super chat of more retard. I appreciate that, Gon. And we did. We brought you more retard. Brought you more retard sex. I can't believe how boring the cuckold queen was. What kind
probably
of
neither can it. It probably thought that it was going to be a lot more exciting.
Think about that. We watched a video about the cuckold queen who owns it, and it was boring. That's sort of the you know, there's that one line of thinking. It's not exactly biblical, but I think there's a real kernel of truth to it. That in hell, sinners are just allowed to do whatever they want and get whatever they want. And that the punishment is that eventually it's so unbelievably boring. So, yeah, and I do suggest checking out the two Star Trek miniseries I suggested. I read both of them. They're really good.
I'm going to.
And, yeah, so if you enjoy the show, do check out the PayPal, Patreon, the Amazon wish list. All that stuff's greatly appreciated. And do check out the sponsors. Steve's Jerky and Asshole Consulting. And everyone, thanks for being on here. Pastor Tom, thanks for being on here. I'm glad we could talk about Smash. And I know that, you know, I'm glad you could be on here to pray for us all as the rest of the show continued.
Well, thanks for having me on, as always.
And you will never have a radio ministry. And Matt Forney, thanks for being on. British James.
You're always. Thanks.
Yeah, British James, thanks for being on.
Attention, Bajoran work because I fucked Kira's mother. That is all.
Reenie, thanks as always for hopping in.
Pleasure to be here, especially with the Star Trek information you introduced to my life.
Luke, thanks for the super chat.
Heaven? Whatever gave you the idea you were in heaven, Mr. Valentine? This is the other place.
Well, that explains a lot.
That's all we got for tonight, folks. Bechtloff out.